Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Dean Davis, the flip. We got a lot to get into. We're going to continue. Last week we had Sean Davis on, and one of our guests from back in the days, man, I still can think about the first time meeting this dude. I'm happy he feels safe because first time I met him, he brought security with you. For real? Last couple times he hasn't.
I don't know. We got to talk about that.
Okay, we're talking about. He was in. Shorty was real security too. He won't play security. I was like, "What's up, brother?" He was like, It's like, all right, you're doing your job.
Oh man, I had security at a point. Oh man.
Yeah. But now we got right here, you hear his voice. We got Illi D. Williams, Illi, formerly known as the Boy Illinois, sitting in here with us right now. You heard his music all through the city. You should hear it all through the city. Unfortunately, some of these stations don't play a lot of the stuff from the cats that are here.
Yeah.
In the first place, especially, not to say that it's all positive, because I know sometimes the connotation being conscious is negative, but it's real. It's about real life, not just the little trappings that they try to do, and they don't give those type of artists enough shine. Not to say we can't play some of everything, but some cats like this need to be on air a little bit more. But Illi's in studio with us.
What's going on, brother?
Y'all? Hey,
finally in the flesh.
Yeah, definitely.
I get to meet this brother, man.
Yeah,
Every time
man.
he came down to the old studio, my ass was, it was a funeral I had to go to.
It was a funeral and a vacation or
funeral
something like that.
vacation.
2 times.
Yeah.
First one was JRW. I thought about it the other day. First time you came on was because of JRW.
Yeah, that's what's up.
This is the thing, too, I realized, and when you just meet somebody, I tell them when you was like, man, what's up, let's talk some sports. And I always tell them, I enjoy following you because you put your neck out and say stuff, and it'd be like, okay, and it'd be right on point. One thing, and I mean, we'll get to the JRW point because you was fighting, talking about why that people shouldn't have been coming down on them the way they were. They shouldn't have.
Nah.
They shouldn't
We
have.
still won, so it don't
Yeah,
matter.
they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. But we need people. We need advocates because we know how it is out here. We need advocates.
It was like just a point in time where like I came up with I went to U of I with a couple prominent people, and they used to be like, "Yo, I feel you, but I can't say that." And I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep saying it then.
Yeah.
So once I heard that 2 or 3 times, I was like, all right, this is who I am.
We need you.
Yeah.
You one. I'll tell you one you hit on, and it was like, damn, I remember seeing you talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
And you was like, stay away from him.
Yeah.
He working with those people. And I remember you saying that, like, okay, then like
I said that like 7-8 months ago.
yes, and then
And look what happened.
Yeah, it was like
He just looked too informant, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I never was in the streets, but I'm from the streets. So I because I wasn't in it, even if I was in it, just you got to pay close attention to detail with certain things, certain movements, certain mannerisms, certain little stuff that go on. You be like, all right, I need to move around. And the stuff that he was doing, all of it was like, soon as he was like, yo, how many people you killed? When the last person you shot? I'm like, who asked those type of questions?
Give me your resumes of shootings. How many have
Like
you done?
what? Like who asks those type of questions but somebody that's like trying to get information on you? And he was tempting everybody to do something. And then I feel like a lot of people caught on because they actually didn't do anything. They were just talking back to get the clout. But when he came here and I saw how he was moving around, and I knew how the interconnections of who he is and who he's connected to, and how that person's connected to the mayor. I was like, man, y'all better chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all gonna get hit for real. So yeah, man. And then you saw after the fact he went to O Block for 5 seconds and then hopped in the vehicle.
Man,
and
like
he wasn't
3:30 a.m. in the morning.
So the point of it is, the people behind him was putting the battery in his back. They knew what they was doing, and they knew that he knew what he was doing because he ain't stupid. Like he said after the fact, he's like, I'm not dumb. I'm just doing this because, one, I got protection. Two, you know what I'm saying? I know ain't nothing gonna happen to me for real. So then when I went back in the situation and then kind of seen how Shotty met Tekashi. I believe Tekashi was brought to Shotty by a little homie. Like, yeah, you should manage him. So this ain't nobody y'all came up with. Then you seen it came out after the fact. He just joined the Bloods right before he popped off. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I didn't know none of you other gangbangers behind the scenes until he started being in the camera. Then y'all start being in the camera. Then it's just like, oh, we know who these dudes is. We gathering all this information up. Tekashi recording everything, sending it to academics. I'm like, this all looks like an informant to me, guys. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, for real, like I guess sometimes people got to have a badge on or something to make them look like, nah, I know what the police look like when they look like us, regular folks. Like, nah, you doing too much, man. You ask too many questions, you know. And then for a lot of people from Chicago, we think pretty much everybody that's white is a police officer. So
either police officer or mailman.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Like, so we like, I don't know what you're doing around here. So
move around.
Gentrification hasn't hit yet.
So when you in an environment and somebody start acting a little bit extra than what the environment they're in, you be like, you acting a little bit too gangster. Something's wrong with you. You acting too cool. Something's wrong with you. So yeah, I was something I called earlier. I just wanted to make sure, especially here in Chicago, that nobody did nothing stupid. Especially the artist. I'm like, man, don't do nothing. He was tempting a lot of people.
I mean, even on the radio though, it was on the radio or maybe an interview social media wise, and people were saying like, dude, don't do anything dumb when this kid gets hit.
No,
like, man, you don't want that. It's stupid to even get involved in.
You seen the security he ended up starting to have? Boy, them boys was huge. Them was like, yo, I have never in my history of following the culture seen somebody with security like that other than Beyonce or Jay. Don't even have Jay got one security that used to work for the KGB, and is one dude, and that's it. But Beyonce, like Tekashi ain't Beyonce. Like, why is there so many heavily vested, strapped, double strapped, 2 9s on each side? I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, what is this? How can he afford this?
Sticking with that, what else what was something else that you've pointed out that it took a minute for cats to kind of catch on to?
Oh, I don't mean to say the name, but you got D-Ray from Black Lives Matter, and people eventually started to see like, oh, this dude is a pawn. Like he got a lot of commercial stuff, selling stuff on his page. It's like, wait a minute, man, I've been peeped that, cause this how I feel about it. I mean, we know what the climate been in this country, so we know it's certain people who oppose us, and I feel like a lot of us don't think like our opposition. Like, you know, with sports, you gotta look at game film.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we not studying they secret organizations, they fraternal orders and stuff like that. So how we know what they doing for real? So that's how I feel about it. So I've done my history. I got good OGs, you know, that put me up on game. So when I see certain stuff like a Tekashi or a D-Ray or somebody, I'm be like, he not really who he say he is. He a send-off. And that's when I was like, I been knew he was a send-off. And then it just started really coming to pass. People want to call him out while he doing speeches and stuff like that. I'm like, it's about time. So, like, you know, it's just really just about, I don't know, just studying history because it repeats itself.
Real quick,
So,
it's one thing I got to say about that. We were driving in talking about it. Now listen, this goes to, unfortunately, the tragic pass of Nipsey Hustle.
yeah.
And the fight between black people about, did the government do it? Shut up, don't talk about that. The government didn't do it. My whole thing is this. We could sit there, you can say conspiracy theorists or whatever. The gentleman was let out of jail. 2 days later, he killed Nipsey Hustle. For me, that looks shaky. But let me even take away from this. For people to say, I'll say that Nipsey Hussle wasn't killed by the government. Even though if you look at what he was doing, he falls in line, a definite line of people that if we think the government has been against us, they would take his ass out.
Yeah.
But the point is, when people are fighting, to what you just said about knowing your enemies, yeah, sometimes brothers may say something's a conspiracy that's not. But why smack their hand when they're only looking out for you?
Yeah,
like the fact that black people are, don't you say that the government's like, you know, they killed everybody before, right?
It's a real disease, man. And like, if you do the history from the Panthers to Malcolm X, it was always somebody that was in the inside. That's the best way to do it, is to infiltrate from somebody that looked like you, because they can get up close to you and do whatever they want to do to you. And I felt like in that situation with Nip, it was that situation was like the familiarity of the person allowed him to be in that, you know what I'm saying, that space. If he was a snitch from a whole nother hood, they would have been like, wait a minute, we need a perimeter. We need our antennas go up more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I totally feel you. And I feel like conspiracy theories just got a bad rap.
Connotation to,
yeah.
Which is only...
It is an alternate theory. It's just like, what if this happened? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so, because, okay, let's kind of keep going down this lane then. So, Cat got out. He shot him.
Supposedly snitch.
He snitched, right. Yeah. Nipsey, I'm
just going he works for the government.
He basically, I'm going off of what I've heard so far.
Yeah.
But he was caught in Bellflower.
He was caught at trying to turn himself into
a mental health facility
yes,
or something like
before
that.
I say something.
And I know Chris
say something wrong.
Right, I know Chris Dartree.
Chris Darden?
Darden.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
Good
now
old Chris Darden.
Yeah, he's Darden. Thank you. He's now representing him.
Yeah.
He's representing whatever like that. So no, it's kind of weird that y'all saying this because it's kind of like, okay, let me open up my eyes a little bit. So you have he make it out. He don't get touched. The biggest thing is I was going to ask you this, Illi. I was surprised that nobody was able to find him and touch him from the street real quick.
This is, man.
And now
I'm putting myself out here with this one, but skip it because we can curse on here?
Yeah, yes,
but fuck it. All right. But fuck it because I just think, like you said, the conspiracy theory for me is just like an alternate version of, hey, what if this actually happened, based on the history. The thing that's kind of like really out of everything that's like really bothering me is he was up there helping his homie who just also got released out of jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean somebody
and went up there with no security, which is a rarity. So now I'm thinking like,
homie was in it.
I don't know. I don't really know nothing, but it's just stuff that's like it don't sit right. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking. So I had a conversation the other day about this. I was like, I was talking to my father. Because he was born back then, back in the day when Sam Cooke was killed. So I was like, I wonder if folks was like, oh, it wasn't no conspiracy with Sam Cooke. He was messing with them hookers. He was messing with the whores. And then it take 20-something plus years later to see like, oh, nah, this was a setup. This was his whole setup. Like, so I don't want for us to have to sit back and be like 20 years later they do a Nipsey documentary or anybody else who questionable death and be like, oh wow, that really was a setup. Like we kind of been said that, but you know what I'm saying. So I just feel like people should be a lot more open minded.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all. Yeah,
that's all. I mean, not to say it's actually a conspiracy.
Yeah, because I'm not gung ho on it, but I understand if you had those questions.
If the government, this is my only question. Anybody listen to this? If you believe the government has hurt us, and we're talking about leadership before. When did you feel like the delineation line when it's like, we're not doing that anymore, guys? That's over. Like,
yeah. I mean, at the end, like I from the start, I said you got to really know your opposition.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want you to pull I'm not gonna give you any chance whatsoever to pull yourself up. I may give you a section to make it look like you're doing it, but you're not really doing it. If you start to create something grassroots and it's becoming powerful, I got to get in there somehow and disrupt that whole thing from going on. So if you can't underestimate to what lengths I will go to disrupt that at all, because they didn't prove they didn't bomb whole blocks to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like straight up, like in the broad day. Look, boom, this is what we gonna do.
Oklahoma,
they do that broad daylight, so you can't underestimate your opposition. So
I would at least say with the bright side of this, if you want to say it, although we lost a good brother, you have was coming in early, was watching the videos of the Bloods and the Crips, all the gangs out there in LA. Now they getting together, saying peace, unity out there. So that's good. Also, too, even with social media and what you're all saying, like, hey, make sure there's an alternative theory of what's going on.
Yeah.
I think with social media, you're going to have that out there. Yes, you're going to have people to kind of smack it down, but at least now we have the voices to get it out there a lot more with social media.
For sure. And I feel like that is a gift and a curse from social media, because everybody don't need to put their opinion online. Right. But at the same time, like you're saying, the awareness of like, oh, okay, because I've been seeing people put up prior leaders and how they died and how they covered it up, and now people is getting exposed to that.
They're hip to the game.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get it, it's out there. People are putting it out there, and that's the good part about it.
Keep your antennas up. Doesn't mean that the government killed Nipsey Hustle.
Nah, not at all. But keep your antennas up, man. You gotta do some game film, man. You gotta stay some game film for real, man. Like for real. Like I said, sports. You study film. The best players, they in their film room. I need to know what my opposition does. If he does this 2 times and comes back left, like you gotta understand the game plan. Like when brothers is trying to buy real estate, they'll delay them contracts. They'll do all type of stuff to make sure you're not getting that property. So you just gotta understand what's going on.
Did he own that complex yet? Or
he just got everything in there.
He just bought everything?
Everything.
Because I read an article where he was saying like, hey man, listen,
I'm
finally
trying to get
successfully
just got
it. Damn.
Everything. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, man. But like the gangs coming together, that's probably one of the most beautiful things I ever seen, man. And the people out there that I know was putting stories up like, yo, some of these people ain't never been on this block ever in 20, 30 years because of the beef that's going on. And it was like, man, you know, unfortunately, but fortunately, we got something good out of it. And I think it's the start of something. They said his funeral going to be at the Staples Center. That's big, bro. Like, and I was talking to people that this has meant a lot to me because he was like my guy. Like, that was somebody I definitely looked up to, business-wise, artist-wise, and as a person. And I was talking to people that didn't know him at all, and they was like, yeah, it didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with me. I got the call when my homie told me, I'm like, you talking about another rapper. Like, nah, you're not talking about Nipsey. Like, yeah, it fucked me up, man. So
Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
No, never. And I feel like I did. You know what I'm saying? And that's how deep his impact was. Yeah. So I definitely feel for the people who definitely had his wife, his kids, and everything. Like that was a staple.
That was heavy, man.
And I've been watching this grind too, because he's been doing this for years. You know what I'm saying? Years. And he's always been that sharp. So it was just somebody I definitely looked up to who came from the streets but was cool enough to have, you know, a good head on his shoulders and not send brothers off. That was the best thing for me, is not send brothers off and give brothers that's coming home from jail. And that was another thing they spoke on. He employs all ex-felons, so they can't have guns.
That's why they can't have pistols. So when people talk about that running back shooting, they couldn't. The people that he was, remember, the guy that just came home was not supposed to have a gun, and the people that worked there, he left his security. So that's why people were like, "How did dude keep running back up?" Because nobody was they were supposed to have guns. Nobody
was there.
But not only him, but 2 other people got shot as well, right?
Yeah,
was his homies, his boys, his bodyguards?
His
bodyguards wasn't there.
It was the brother who just got out of jail who came to see him, and his home and the nephew of the dude. Yeah,
that's sad, man.
Yeah, man.
So
rest in peace, Nip.
Yeah, rest in peace, Nip. On a lighter note, first of all, when did you change to Illi D. Williams?
Yeah. No, it's just Illi. I don't want to get it confused. Illi D. Williams is just my handle.
Okay.
So it was a choice. When I wanted to change my name, somebody had Illi on Twitter, somebody had Illi on Instagram, and it was inactive. I emailed Twitter and Instagram. I'm like, man, get them out of here. Let me get that. Nothing. So I did like a little poll. I was like, it was Illi this, Illi that, or Illi D. Williams. And everybody chose Illi D. Williams. So
I like that.
I was like, so it's just like your little cool nickname, but it's Illi.
It fits you though.
Yeah.
But like the old Billy D.
Well, it's another rapper who calls himself Illi D. Williams too, illegit. So I don't want to get it confused with that.
Okay.
But we've always, because everybody call us Illi, because I've always been Illi even when I was the boy Illinois. But the thing is, because we had a conversation with it, my real name is William Dalton, so I've been Billy D for my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I've always been called Billy D.
Okay.
So it was just a, you know, even with Illi is just really Billy without the B.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So look, talk a little bit about the miniseries. Go to your GoFundMe. Let them know
go
where
to my
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Right here. It's /Illi D. Williams /album miniseries.
Yeah.
So go to GoFundMe and put that in.
And if you just go to my social media, especially on my Instagram, it's on my profile. So I've been hollering at some other investors too outside of this. You know what I'm saying? But so the project been done for like 2 years. Not all. Yeah, some songs are 2 years old. Some songs are like the most current song on the album is probably like 8 months old or something like that. But it's 8 songs, and we wrote an episode for each song. So it's a little story about how an African diplomat has his little, you know, organization. He run like a little speakeasy club or whatever. He's trying to get these documents and artifacts back on some Killmonger shit, kind of, sort of, from the CIA.
That's what I thought when I was reading it. Like, he's Killmonger in this.
So kind of like that. Yeah, I love that aspect. I always had that idea when I saw it in the movie. I was like, this is genius. I'm glad somebody did it on a large scale. But it's me trying to get some documents and items back from the CIA that belong to my people, and they have a sister working for them, and she infiltrates my organization through my speakeasy. Like, she become a bottle girl.
Around.
Yeah. So she become a bottle girl, but the thing is, she fall in love with me, and then she end up helping us. So
who did you have help write it?
My homegirl, Ashley No CK. She's a DJ as well, but she went to U of I. She's a U of I alum too, so we've been knowing each other for a while. And I told her the idea about the project. She was like, you know, I was she had a major in I think video directing or something like that. But right now she works for a music publisher, but she's been in music. But she was like, I'd love to help out. So we was meeting up at my business club in the Metropolitan in the Willis Tower, like all from like November to January, putting it together, making sure who we want to play in it, and we got it done.
Who shot it?
No, it ain't done
That's
yet.
what I thought. Nobody shot it.
Yeah, nobody shot it yet.
Who do you think?
Yeah.
Who do you think?
No, I got my guy Jay Marvez. He did my Dancing Like Diddy video.
Which was big.
Back for You. Yeah, he did a lot of, and he likes to create a lot of like movie like stuff, and he likes to build stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm probably just gonna tap him in. I've already talked to him about it down. We just gonna make sure we get the funding so it's shot right. And this is my last project album in this genre of music.
Where you?
So you changing it up on us. All right.
Yeah.
Where we going next?
We're African and Caribbean music.
That's what it
So,
seems like.
yeah.
Seems like the song that you put out maybe 4 months ago about the young lady.
Yeah. It was in that vein.
Because that stayed
but-
in my ear.
Yeah,
It
was in that vein, but not all the way. And I'm going all the way now. So
Okay.
yeah.
So when are we gonna get the new?
I just did a single with this brother named Snow Deep. He's a DJ / producer from South Africa.
Okay.
And he sent me some joints. And there's one joint we got called Waste. It'll probably come out like 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
When we put out the single for Illi D. Williams, we probably gonna put them out at the same time.
So what sparked this creativity to go this other way?
Well, I'm half Haitian.
Haitian.
I know.
But I was raised around all Nigerians. So, like, I've been always in tune with Afrobeat, from Fela to Two-Face, and now Wizkid, Davido. We actually recorded Davido at our studio in the Music Garage. A couple months ago, he did a song with Trey Songz, with Tory Lanez and Casanova. That single that's out now. We recorded that. I've been in tune with the craft, and low-key Lupe told me a long time ago, like, man, you need to get more in tune with like your culture, because I don't listen to a lot of compa, but I listen more Afrobeat. That's just because all my friends was Nigerian, so like.
I grew up with a lot of Nigerians too.
Yeah, so it was just like, the whole culture, from the food, the parties, everything. I'm in it, so it was just like I enjoy the music. It fits. It fits the aesthetic.
Like
exactly.
Your style,
It fits because they the ones that had me dressing like that.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and right now I only listen to really that type of music. I'm going to a Mr. Easy concert tonight. Shout out Mr. Easy. Then Burna Boy is tomorrow.
Put it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's back to back. They got Mr. Easy, Burna Boy, and these are like huge stars in Africa. And I was like, you know what? I love this music. I love making it. And there's no African artist.
That's a lane for you. Open it
So
up right
I was
there. You're
like,
doing
man, everybody's from either from the islands or they from this overseas period. They're not from here. So, and I feel like that's a large reason why like somebody like Burna Boy, who's huge overseas, is not known here, is because it's nobody that's actually making that music on a consistent basis over here. And I was like, this lane wide open. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to connect with all my people and do what I do. And I've been shooting the project with a song to all my homies. It's back in Nigeria, they in Ghana, Cameroon, just to make sure,
That's legit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still not.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm coming in fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be here like I'm supposed to be up in this space. You know what I'm saying? So make sure they rocked with it. They was like, you made it your own. Like, yeah, it don't sound like you appropriating, you know what I'm saying, or anything of that nature. So it was dope.
Real quick to the miniseries. When everything is done, what platform you plan on putting it
You
out
know
there
what? I got an idea I want to pitch it to Netflix and have it like sit on their platform for maybe like a month and have it like, well, you can only watch my music videos on Netflix. And it's broken down like a series. Like, so how you go through your series on Netflix, like episode 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I really, that's what I'm shooting for to the top. Like, I really want to pitch it to Netflix.
Okay.
So if not, it'll be on YouTube, platform. But Netflix is the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And nobody's done it. So
No, nobody.
I mean, they use with original content, and this is original.
It's original, and they can just live on there, and it'll be something different. So I know it'll bring a lot of viewers
That's smart,
to
bro.
it. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, so yeah, that's all in the grand scheme of things.
It's good, man. It's good to see that you're also looking at taking the different avenues. And I think, what is it? Either 106 or GCI are playing like
Davido, fall. Money fall on you.
Yeah, they're playing, and then I think on Saturday nights, they got a day now.
He's I think Sony. Yeah, he just got a deal with Sony not too long ago.
Yeah.
They pushing him
They
because I was
pushing him.
Bro, I was on my way down to South by Southwest. I heard it in Arkansas.
Damn.
I was like, what?
I heard it 3 different days getting in the car, and I remember the last day I said, "Oh, so this is what's up," because you don't get this type of airplay like this.
No,
Yeah.
And like they sing it at home.
It's coming.
Yeah, and again,
coming,
it's a weekend night dedicated to Afrobeat on one of those stations now.
No, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. It's Sunday.
It's
I know. I heard her say
so
that. Yeah.
WizKid was the reason you got what was it? Not One Dance. What was the other joint that came out during that time? One Dance was Popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Controller. WizKid was Controller. You know what I'm saying? And then they did a favor, and then Drake jumped on the WizKid. So a lot of people been rocking with them, but they ain't really been putting them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like putting them on because I'm telling you, bro. Like just being that culture, yo, they go hard for their artists. They go hard, and they got one hell of a following. David O, like you go on, he got like 4 or 5 million followers.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of it, like music and the accessibility to all these artists. No matter what music you like, you're gonna have someone to find. You're gonna have a plethora of artists to choose from, no matter where you go. What you like, it don't matter what you can like rappers who rap about toes. I'm sure it's like maybe like 50, 60 of them guys out there.
I love that toe rap.
I'm telling you, it's some if people like it, somebody gonna deliver that product.
Yeah, they're fans
Real.
of diehard. I'm a Femi guy.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
follow the younger brother too.
Yeah,
on the gram.
yeah.
Because I remember it was this Femi
And I
song
miss
for
them
like
every
15
time they
years.
come here.
Yeah, that made me fall in love with them. But and the good course because of Fela. But nah, dude, that's dope.
Yeah, and rest in peace to the Shrine. That was like a big. I didn't really know how important it was until like my Nigerians homies was like, nah, like the original Shrine is in Lagos, like it's in Nigeria. That's what Fela used to rock out at.
I know they always talk about the Shrine.
Yeah,
the Suns,
yeah. So that's why I was named after that. So like African nights, we would be out there. I would go to all the African parties. Like African parties is so completely different than your standard black party.
Break
Your
it
party
down.
period. All right, so the house party is pretty much is like it goes to like maybe 4 or 5. Kids be there too, and it's food everywhere. They'll have coolers, like you put drinks in of rice, a jollof rice. Coolers of rice, fish everywhere, like food, liquor, everything is on the house. It's crazy, bro. Like, sit there, you can party, dance, eat, sit down, chill out, come get back up. Yo, I was like, man, ain't never no food at no parties I go to.
The food's
It's
gone already.
never
Right, right.
food.
It just opened up.
Get there early.
Food is something extra. You just come in to party. So
I know they have. Me and my guy, we went to like a Caribbean night, if you want to say that, up in Promontory.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
doing it for
Yep.
a minute. It was pretty cool too. It was like you said, it was completely different.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
And
cool.
I had I know a lot of the DJs in the city too, the African DJs. So that's a blessing too. I'm just and that's a great thing for me because I'm not totally on the outside as I'm trying to come in. I'm already here.
Yeah.
I just wasn't making the music. I know everybody. I just wasn't consistently making the music.
Yeah, I mean, and also it'd be different if this was like you were totally changing who you are.
Yeah. Like I just went to
You
jail for
like,
10
you know,
days.
this is a new lane. Like you kind of been in this lane
I
already.
went to jail for 10
Yeah,
days and
it's
started
like, come
coming
out
back
like-
for philosophical. Well, brother, let me break it down to you real quick. Inside is the outside because outside ain't in.
Billy,
Like,
is that you?
Yeah, it'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, so yeah, it's not out left field.
Look, you want to do some sports.
Yeah,
and I
let's
think
do
the
that.
MVP discussion.
7th game of the Western Conference Final in astonishment as here's Harden got the step. Oh, what a move. And he went right at JaVale McGee.
Come on, you gotta love NBA basketball. Get dunked on.
We've had the MVP debate
Yeah.
around here.
We got money on it.
We got money. So let me say full disclosure.
Come on.
Full disclosure.
Right.
I'm a Giannis guy,
Yeah, me too.
but I think James Harden's winning this MVP.
I completely agree.
and these guys have been battling me for the last. Not him.
I'll say this.
Not him. I got you now.
Yeah.
I'll say that
It's 3-on-2.
the entertainment factor, I gotta get it because basketball because it's on TV. It's an entertainment 1st type of thing. So we want to keep the viewership coming. James Harden has a good draw. What he's doing is very entertaining, and you got to give it to him for that. But for me, honestly, I like the best player on the best team. That's how I would do it if we being.
The way we were raised?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I give it to Giannis. They've been consistent all the way through. They're the best team in the NBA. I mean,
I'm with you. But
Yeah.
they broke that rule when they gave it to Russ.
They gave it a rush.
true.
So that's
I mean, but Russ,
And
but
I
they
feel-
did something he had never done before. But as you said, though, with James Harden, he's averaging
He's doing
35,
something that you ain't seen
36.
since Kobe and Mike.
Right.
Yes. So and then Yeah, when they did it with Russ, it's kind of like, you're just going to give it to the people that got the stats. You know what I'm saying? It's a stat thing. I'm like, all right, cool, I get it. And but the funny thing about it, Liz, is about this. I'm not a James Harden hater. I really don't like the way he plays basketball.
Sounds like one Mr. Tony Gill over there.
I really don't. Because he all right, there's two ways to explain this. Watching him play is like watching somebody play with my player and they trying to get VC. And they just dominate and they just scoring a whole bunch of points. And it's just like, this is not entertainment to me. And then the way he play, like if you play against him, it feels like you're playing against somebody from LA Fitness and they call foul every time they miss. You be like, bro, I'm not playing with you no more. Like, I can't.
Back you down with a big butt.
LA Fitness.
So to put into perspective too, one thing is like he's a very, 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 very high volume shooter. So I went back and looked at how many field goals per game Mike shot versus how many field goals per game James Harden shot. And it was off maybe about like 2.5. But the big difference is Mike only took 0.8 3-pointers a game. So you putting in real like work. Like I gotta get down here, I got a back post, or I'm driving to the hole a rip. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then when you look at how many 3-pointers he shot this year alone versus Steph hit more 3-pointers than he has, but he just outshot him by like 300, 400, 500, probably something like that. It's ridiculous how many 3-pointers he shot. So when I looked at, I was like, all right, how many games has he had that he shot over 30 field goals? 18 this season. And then I was like, how many games has Steph shot over twice? So I'm like, man, I don't know if you give Steph the chance, KD the chance to shoot 40 times a game like that. Like
They'll average about 35 too.
Yeah. So for me, I think is what he's doing amazing, but I don't like when people be like, oh, I don't think nobody else in the league can do what he's doing. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. Especially, and if they was fishing for fouls like he does.
Fishing for fouls.
Man.
The LA Fitness game, ain't it? The LA Fitness
Like
game.
he just made every point that I made about James Harden. Like, I mean, it's cool what he's
Who are
doing.
you, sir? Who are you?
He found a cheat to the system.
Yeah, it's a hack.
He's
He
not
found a little hack.
operating. He's not operating. He's not playing the game
The way he's
in the
supposed to play.
spirit of the game. He's operating on the technicalities of the game, and
And I-
that's not entertaining.
And I feel like that's going to hinder the game
whatsoever.
all around because the young guys going to come up, start trying to sweep up under you. And be like, because I was telling my homie who like him, he was like, man, just stop fouling. I'm like, bro, honestly, I can hoop against you and call a foul every single time I want to. And that's what he basically doing. Whenever he really want a foul, he can get one. And it's a bailout. But the thing is, when it comes to the playoffs, them joints turn into turnovers because the refs be swallowing that whistle sometime. And that's how they end up losing a lot of the times. It's his turnovers. And a lot of them turnovers be, and that's another thing about what people say, talk about the 3-pointer is more efficient or this, that, and the other. I'm like, not really, because a lot of 3-pointers could, if you really could, put as turnovers. A lot of them, ill-advised shots, I'm going to just pull up on fast break, take a 3-pointer brick. That's a turnover, really, to me. Like, you didn't even set your offense and nothing, get a good shot.
A long
You
rebound.
ain't Steph. Everybody not Steph,
You're
man.
not Golden State. Really, the thing is, you're not Golden State.
Everybody not Steph.
Yeah.
And even with him, he ain't, it's another thing that kind of like young guys kind of try to do too much Steph stuff. But hey, that's how good he is. The fouling and fishing for foul, that's something I'm like, bro, like I can't, I don't like it. Because in the heat of a game and you need 2 points and you try to go to the free throw line as opposed to actually trying to score, you can lose the game. You know what I'm saying? So I like players who play to score, period, not play to get fouled. And Giannis is that guy. Because Giannis be babying dudes. Like,
Wait a minute. So a lot of the points you just said about James Harden is the reason why I think Giannis is probably going to get it. Because I think a lot of voters look at him as like, okay, he's playing the right way. It's the best team in the league.
You're
He's
right.
up there
These are like the NBA. Who's getting the point? Like who votes? The
lot of
writers,
writers.
right?
Writers.
So yeah.
Or
They're looking at him
not
like
just
that.
all right. I think also some talking heads have a vote too.
Yeah.
I think some
Michael
talking-
Wilbon. Well, he's also a writer
writer,
too.
yeah.
But a lot of the points is kind of like, okay, I think that's why. And plus, on the other side too, his defense.
Yeah.
And the way the team is constructed, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
damn, I didn't think they was going to do that. And they had the number one.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
could
Think about
possibly
that, though,
get
too.
both.
Yeah, but
He
see,
could possibly
you
get
just
both.
answered one way. That's the out.
Yeah,
We're gonna give
yeah.
Giannis Defensive Player of the
Yeah.
Year, and we're gonna get because think about it,
Yeah.
Giannis is going to get an MVP. If
Yeah,
Giannis,
he definitely probably gonna get it
next year's
year.
is Giannis.
for sure.
Giannis does what he does this year.
So it's probably going to be because I feel like before last year, James Harden should have won MVP.
He should have won. He could have won the last 3 years.
I definitely give it to him like all day. But like again, last year they was the number one team, so he definitely deservingly they had to give it to him. Like the stuff they was doing. The year before, I think he should have won. But I feel like Giannis should win. But they're gonna give it to James, just because it's been a story, and it's a story.
That's been my thing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
a good
I'm
story.
a Giannis guy.
It is a good story, man. So you can't turn down a good story, especially when you're trying to sell stuff. So,
and they need it down there too.
I'm a Giannis guy, but you can already tell.
and I think of like with Russ and like James. I be honestly thinking like, man, I think Marks is like, we ain't gonna win a championship. I gotta get something out of this season.
No, you're right.
Let me get something out of this
You're
season. I
right.
gotta be historic somewhere because they gonna be winning all these championships.
Isn't Russ gonna get another triple-double this year, basically?
He already got it. He got it last night. He got it last night. All he needed was 3 assists last night.
There you go.
3 years in a row.
Cats trying
averaging
to go down the
triple-double.
record books. They like, listen, we're not beating the Warriors, so we might as well go ahead.
Look, think about what you just said about Sidney Moncrief when you text last night about his Sidney Moncrief Hall of Famer. This is a case why Cats are, I won't say padding their stats, but I'll say padding their stats, because Cats don't want it to be any question as far as they don't have the titles of why I'm deserving of getting into the Hall of Fame. Because with you, and I looked at Sidney Moncrief, I remember the name. Sidney Moncrief is before our time.
I had to ask my old man about like Sidney Moncrief.
Yeah, but it was,
man.
And
That
like,
boy's a
why did it
beast.
take him so long to get into the Hall if he was good?
yeah, that's a good one.
Well, times have changed.
That team.
Yeah.
Times have
Times
have changed, but still looking at his stats and thinking about how that team was. I think that the thing is that we're missing out on is we don't know how that team was built together. Back in the days, you kind of got to know how that team worked. But I'm with you on questioning his eligibility. But as far as stats, that's another reason why you got Cats like you're saying. James Harden told us last year. He's like, I'm about to win the MVP again. James Harden knew his chance of him getting.
Yeah, listen, James Harden be like was talking about himself being an MVP on the court like 3 months ago. Yeah. So you knew like this is what I'm going for. Like I'm going for this all day.
Now this is a question for the group. Is that bad for basketball? Because some people will say, well, he's playing the 82 regular season games. But my thing is, well, then that means his focus is limited. People take games off, especially the guys, because they want to get they want to be fresh when
Mike
the
never
games
took games
matter.
off those.
But their careers are longer.
But let me ask you
and
this.
they're being more effective for
Going
longer.
with what you just said.
Well, I'm not finished the question.
Are you not?
But is that good for basketball? A guy openly saying, "Hey, look, I want to win MVP," but not looking that his team can possibly win a championship, or do they both coincide? Can they both coincide?
Because,
But for me, what James Harden is doing, I don't think it's.
But you're not giving him props for you have to remember this year. He had to do that because his running mates were gone. So let's start off with that. Chris Paul was out, Clint Capella was out. So this just wasn't James Harden was like, I'm gonna put on this show. They were 8th in the West, and he brought them to 3rd right now. They're 3rd now? Are they 3rd, Tony? I need Tony to answer this. Are they 3rd now?
I think so, yeah.
Because I know Tuesday they weren't. You was sitting there like, is that they were tied? They 3rd now, and where's Indiana at?
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm asking you where Houston's at in the West. They're 3rd.
They're 3rd, yeah.
Because they were 4th, and I was saying they're probably going to finish 3rd or whatever. He's sitting there. He played and put up those numbers to get them where they are now. I'm with you though. If it seemed like it affected him, I'll be with you. But this is kind of just who James Harden is. Yeah. So it's either you like James Harden being like this, or you don't like James Harden being like this, right?
Well, I wonder, too, is it possible, because we know athletes are super hyper-focused. Mm-hmm. Can an athlete just be looking, okay, I want the MVP, because that's first. Then when I get my MVP, now I want my title. And think of it as a systematic goal throughout the entire season.
I think if you're looking at it as far as your career, per se, you look at your team, it's like, okay, they're realistic. They're real guys. I know if we have a really good chance of winning the NBA championship. As you just said, a couple of his guys from last year from Rockets, they're not there anymore.
They're out.
They're out. They're out.
And
So
Trevor Ariza out.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza is gone. So you look at the teams, and like I said, they can tell themselves the truth. Like, we probably don't have a shot this year. So you know what? I can't go for the MVP. Now, to answer Tony's question, for a purist, nah, that's not a good thing. I mean, you
don't think Mike wanted to get the MVP? Mike wanted the
No,
title
I
and the
think,
MVP.
No, I think with Tony, you're asking like, is it very? Are you kind of?
He said, "Can you be
Are
either
you a
or
bad
both?"
basketball player if you only
Is
looking for?
is it bad for the game?
Bad for the game.
When
Mike wanted
when
those
people start
MVPs?
but would he like? Mike got 5 MVPs in
Right,
total,
right.
and he probably deserved more.
Yeah.
But would he exchange one of those titles for another MVP?
No, he
Basically,
won't.
the
Maybe
conversation.
Mike in his early years when he knew that he couldn't, he was like 80, 84, 85, 86, 87.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I can go out there and get the MVPs. 'Cause I know we not ready
Well, he
just
couldn't
yet.
because they didn't win enough. 88, 89 is when he started getting
started
MVPs.
getting them. Right.
But even like somebody like this going back, Magic Johnson. People used to hold it against Magic Johnson. They didn't score enough, and he wasn't going to get the MVP because he couldn't shoot. In the mid-'80s, when he started to develop more of a shot, he got the MVP. Don't think he didn't want the MVP. A guy can, and even Giannis, I think, has kind of said this. Giannis looks at it as far as if Giannis performs well every night, his teams is going to be here at X. He's also looking at it as if I perform well every night and put my team in winning because I'm getting these outrageous stats, I'm going to get what I deserve, and my team's going to be where my team should be at.
Yeah.
Like, I think for the most part, that's not to say some guys.
I think for the most part, and I feel like they can coexist. It just has to be a thing like where you say, I know if I play my best basketball at the highest level, that's MVP level.
Yes.
And when I do that, we can win championships.
Yes.
Right.
As opposed to I just really focused on winning the MVP. I got to put up a lot of shots and score a lot. So
Do we think that James Harden, looking at the construction of this team right now, do we think that he thinks they can win the championship? I don't think
they got a chance.
Yeah. I think he thinks that for
they got a
sure.
chance.
You think so?
I definitely think he
I
thinks
don't think
that.
they got a shot.
Who's the toughest test, BD? I'll start with you for Golden State in this bracket, if you will, to use the NCAA term.
I think for Golden State, their toughest challenge could come in the first round.
Ooh, okay.
In the Spurs or an OKC.
Okay.
I think that's going to be probably their toughest challenge. I don't really see anybody else in the West really being able to challenge that. If Houston makes it to the conference finals, I think Houston got a chance, but I think their hardest game is going to be the first round.
Okay, Candace?
I think last year was the year to beat Golden State, and because of their injuries. This year, I think Houston poses the biggest threat to them, just their ability, their depth, the ability to knock down the three, to switch defensively across the board with Capella. I like Houston for them as the toughest matchup.
No, I think I put
think
them
they
in
can
Milwaukee as the teams that I look at as having what may be able to beat
the
Golden
Warriors.
State. And
Yeah,
I've said
yeah.
no. And we didn't
Definitely.
think when you looked at the fact that Trevor Ariza had left and some of the defections that Houston had, but when Chris Paul came back, it started to be like, wait, they may be back to where they were before Chris Paul got hurt last year.
Capella was an important part to coming back too.
Yes,
because
yes.
that basket protector, that rim protector, you really need that.
Yeah, you do.
Especially in the West.
Especially, well, I know. I think I'm with you, especially when switching off is what I was
Because
saying.
they don't have
against Golden State.
nobody as far as height on
Well,
that team but
no.
Capella.
No.
There's nobody else.
But
They be having
he-
PJ Tucker at 5.
But he's not going to be able to protect the paint as he once did with Golden State, because now with Boogie, he can space the floor more than any other center that they had before. So that opens up a lot in the paint. And on top of that, Houston's, when they were challenging Golden State, like legitimately, and could have beat them, they were a top 5 defensive team. They're
Yeah,
not that
true.
anymore.
Yeah,
That's
not
true.
at all.
Very true.
And plus,
and-
Steph got contact.
And now,
Man,
with the changing of the guard in terms of now James is doing even more offensively. I don't think that bodes well when it's less team.
Man, and listen, and another important thing is
and
he's
Steph
been
got contacts
scoring.
now.
He been going so like comparatively when Steph was doing his MVP year, he was sitting out the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, they was running. That was
James
the
Harden-
73 and 19, right?
They're only winning by like 4 points, 2 points, 1 point when he's scoring 60-something plus points. So it's like, man, you really got to do all that just to win?
Who's on the team, though?
That's a lot, though.
I'm with
but that's
you.
a load. So when
And
you get
that
to the
ain't gonna work in the
postseason,
in the
that's what I'm
postseason.
saying.
It
I
ain't
don't
gonna
know
I
if that's
think
going
Chris
to work.
Paul is going to step up again when we see like we saw last year.
I
Think
hope
about it.
I
And
hope
that-
he don't get injured.
That's the
Because
thing.
that's every year is Chris Paul's
What's the
injured.
better odds? Check the odds to try to see if Chris
I
Paul
wanna
can
see
finish
how
the
many
playoffs or he
teams.
get hurt first. Which one is the odds on that?
All right,
Man,
look,
that shit crazy.
Rick Bucher believes Kevin Durant's leaving the Warriors for the Knicks.
Nick, yeah, I seen that too.
Thoughts
I
on
seen
that?
The wrecking ball of journalism. He's blowing stuff up. You know, I just said on the air, the KD thing, I've got too many people I trust, you're one of them, that are telling me the exact same thing. Is that the KD thing, you said it yesterday, it's over, it made big news. After a while, and I've always felt, I like sources. I go to dinners. I went to one last night. I try to stay connected. But there are times when I can get tunnel vision, and I look at Durant leaving and think this is insane. This is basketball heaven.
Right.
But you would not have come on the air and said that if you didn't have it sourced multiple times.
No, and look, I'm with you. I feel the same way. It's such a gamble to go from a perennial winner where you're a champion,
brilliantly run,
to New York where it's a mixed bag and they haven't had any success. And I look at how he feels about the media, and I think the media is overblown in New York and how tough they are. But nonetheless, they're there every day and they're coming after you. And KD hasn't done well with that. There's plenty of reasons for me to say this doesn't seem like such a good idea. But when I have time throughout the entire season and people from every avenue saying, no, it's happening. He's going, and this is where he's going. It's hard to ignore that.
I don't know. It makes the league a little bit more entertaining. It makes 2K a little bit cooler. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, this ain't no fantasy. He's supposed to be on the Knicks. So I don't know.
Would you want to play for James Dolan?
I don't. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Okay, why?
He seems
black people.
He seems like
Tony.
But that
that's a good one, Tony.
And he kicks him out as well.
Yeah. He kicked it. What he told the fan. My sleazeball self loves that. I love it. I was like, yeah. Listen, you must have forgot who the fuck I am. I don't know who you think you're talking to. Flex. He flexed that power real quick.
He did.
And he ain't kicking off either. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was dude telling him, like, sell your team, like, y'all suck. He's like, oh, you want me to do what? Oh, okay. Hey, make sure nothing else for him.
And I'm gonna write a song about it too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I can tell anybody in this stadium that works here, get him the fuck out of here. Cause I run the shit. So I fucks with it. I would definitely play for him. We would have a nice chat. We would kick it. I think me and Dolan would kick it.
I would play.
Like what's the owner of the Patriots? Robert Kraft. Like Meek Mill, Robert Kraft. That'd be me and Dolan. We'd be kicking it, bro. In New York City, oh, we kicking it, bro. For real.
His Illi chain going down.
He
there,
gonna be chilling.
I'm
like, listen, bro, you ain't gotta worry about kicking nobody else out. I'm gonna have my homies with you. Don't even trip. Right. They'll handle it for you.
Look, coming here to Chicago, the draft is coming up. Who are your preference? Got to give us two, basically. That's what we're getting down to. You can give us three, but if you are lucky enough, if the Bulls are lucky enough to get number 1 or 2, who are your preferences and why, as far as who the Bulls are going to be?
I feel bad because, like, when you start here with the Bulls, you just eventually just fizzle out and just I don't know. Like, nobody even want to come here as a free agent and play here. So the players I like, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I hope you don't get chose by the Bulls. So you have a blossoming career, because the management and who run the team now, it ain't, man, we ain't been right for a minute. Yep. We ain't been right for a minute, man. But I love John Morant. I really, really rock with his game. I got put on early to him by my homie, and when I watched him, he's real poised. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been here before. I know how to handle myself. Yeah. And I always like that, especially from the music too. From the music to the any form of entertainment you could think of. When I see young guys really doing big things and really handling themselves well, I really enjoy. I really like that. So I like to support that, because that can blossom into something a lot better than what it is. Not just for the entertainment value, but as the person. So, you know.
When you heard the Robert Kraft thought the sex stuff, what crossed your mind?
I don't really got no comments.
Okay.
I got real comments on it, but it ain't for online.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just leave it like
we
that.
Get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
but I'm gonna have to dip soon anyway.
Oh, you gotta wait then. We gotta get this one out, bro.
Let's do it.
Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, I know. What a waste of light skin, you know? You know what I could do with that light skin? That curly hair, my career would be out of here. You fucking running Hollywood. Yes, no, just... What the hell was he thinking? From now on, I ain't never gonna know you're Jesse from now on. You don't even get the you no more. That you was respect. You ain't getting no respect from me. Okay.
Faces lawsuit after refusing to pay Chicago.
Listen, bro, you should just apologize. I'm gonna just keep it like, you just be like, man, I messed up, because at the end of the day, man, when two white people turned into two Nigerian brothers, it was just like, all right, this is a lie. I thought everybody was gonna be like, all right, he's lying, but no, not everybody. I still believe him. Yeah. You serious, bro?
Yeah.
They not even charging the brothers. So what happened then?
Why you down there?
Thank you,
Jesse. Why y'all not going after the two brothers who really attacked you? Like, you going after? How did this turn from somebody screaming out MAGA on the street to Jesse Smollett versus the CPD? What the? The CPD assault you? Did they beat you up? Because that's how it looked like now. I don't know. He just should apologize. I really didn't like it. I don't think he deserved jail time.
Yeah,
I just feel like you need to apologize, because a lot of people got called homophobic and all type of shit because we didn't believe his story. And people from Chicago, listen. If you from Chicago, man, from South Loop on North, man, the homosexual community is huge. You not look, man, you listen. If you from Chicago, you know not to fuck with anybody from that demographic on some legal shit, like, do me, because they will take you down for real, bro. Man, listen, my DJ used to live in Boys Town. Mm-hmm. Look, man, look, they ain't nothing to play with, bro. No. So I knew when I heard that story, I'm like, bullshit, but I ain't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. I ain't say nothing because I seen what was going on. I didn't say nothing until they arrested two Nigerian brothers. And crazy enough, I hit my homie like, hey, He like, yup, I know them. I was like, you know what? I do remember these niggas. So these people I've met before. I know same circles type. Yeah. So when I found that out, I'm like, oh, nah, this is all the way false. Okay. Because I know my Nigerian brothers. They are scammer on scam, brother. Listen.
We heard a story about them too.
And ain't nothing wrong with it because I enjoy a good scam. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially in my younger days. You know what I'm saying? But so I know them. We came up. So when I found out they was part of this thing, I was like, oh yeah. And I know they had to get paid something for it. Like they say it was for personal training, but like that's a lot for personal training, bro. Yeah. So he should apologize to the city. He tried to throw dirt. He not even from here, bro. Like how you gonna try to throw dirt? And it was too much sauce on it. It was too much sauce. It was MAGA. I got a rope
around his neck.
I got salt and pepper. I got
Subway sandwich,
paprika, lemon pepper rub. I was like, wait a minute, dog. You got the perfect ingredients for everything. Nah.
What made me kind of turn off is like, so this super MAGA people watch Empire?
Yeah, man.
Regular to no side character.
Listen. It was following you, not you.
In the polar vortex.
Not Cookie.
Right.
Yeah. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. And I know Chicago racism. That ain't Chicago racism. Mm-hmm. That's south of the border. Chicago racism is like, don't let that nigga in. Like real on the low. Like, cause people scared to lose their jobs here. Yeah. Lock their car door when you up at. It's real subtle. Racism real subtle. Like I was talking about. Hey, make sure that permit don't go through because we don't want niggas in here. You know what I'm saying? Now swipe that application. It ain't in your face racism. Like, nah. Because I tell you, listen, white people are scared of us in Chicago, especially because of the South Side. Like, they don't want no problems. So when I heard that, I was like, bullshit, brother. You was where? River North? Complete bullshit. Around the Gold Coast? Nigga, please. Man, they run that motherfucker over there. Other than Boys Town, what? Over there, Old Town, River North, Gold Coast, what? Man, get out of here. Stop it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. You should just apologize, bro. Like, I ain't like the super folks, like, he shouldn't work nowhere else. No, I don't care about all that. Listen, you tried to scam likely, and it ain't work. Just be like, my bad, y'all. It's all good. That's all you got to say. The shit that's pissed me off is he trying to say, like, I've been truthful through this. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You lying. Stop it.
Look,
but that's my take on that, though.
We got a new mayor here in Chicago. Who did you have before the runoff, and who did you have going?
I ain't really know, but when I seen the picture of Lightfoot with the moles, I was like, yo,
got my vote.
Full demonstration mode. Listen, I said I'm with her. I'm with her. I don't care what she does. Listen, I know she a Mo. I know she one of the brothers. All is well, fam. What's up? And I seen the way they was talking about the way she was dressed at the Sox game. They was like, it's terrible. I'm like, yeah, she dressed like one of the Mo's from back in the day. She dressed like one. Right. She was missing the do-rag and braids. That's all that's it. And she would have been a Mo from the town like 15 years ago. So
all she was missing was like one of those vans with the little plastic black the beads coming off.
You like, yeah, she's Chicago.
Yeah, so she's just walking out the El Rookin facility.
It's for real, exactly.
What did you think? Well, speaking of which, and I know you took the picture of her, she had on. That's my only issue with Lori Lightfoot. Hillary Clinton's gonna have to hook up with some of them pantsuits.
Yeah. Oh, her game gonna step up.
I don't know if Lori wants to elevate that game like that because them shoes.
I think somebody on her council is like, "Yo, I've been checking your Twitter feed.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to take you to get tailored. We're gonna have to take you somewhere. So
she put them out the back of the closet. Yeah.
That's all I got. Yeah. I mean, I want to hold you up. You got
it's all good. Yeah, I'm a man. I enjoyed this, man. So yeah, like you say,
thanks, man.
Every 6 months. Every 6 months, man. Appreciate y'all for having me,
brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Giannis, best player. That's my guy, number 34, the Greek freak. And he Nigerian, so my Nigerian brothers. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, tail of the tape. Both NBA Finals MVP. You have him in career points. He's got more playoff points. You are a more clutch shooter overall. He's got more playoff points. Paul, riddle me this. Who's the better NBA player?
That's easy. I can say that off the bat. That's me. If you give me Shaq, if you give me LeBron,
they did. Call the big three.
We got that late, but like early in my career.
What are you doing right now?
If you give me these guys early in my career.
Let me ask you this. What would have been a perfect time for you, Paul? Let's make sure we get this right.
When I was 24 years old,
okay.
You give me Shaq. When I'm 24, 25, you give me LeBron and Bosh. I'll be sitting on 5 or 6 championships. Easy.
So then who has the better NBA career?
I played 10 years with who?
You know what?
With who?
Antoine Walker. But here's the thing.
Come on, man.
I don't think it's preposterous.
Career. Now he's saying he'll be a better player.
He said he would have had a better career. He said he would have had a better career. Well, put it like this. He's saying that people would know that he was better than him if he had the same things. So he thinks he's better.
He thinks he's better.
But he's open to the fact that clearly I don't have the rings, but if I had the career as far as I had Shaq in year 3 or 4, and then in year 7 or so, I had LeBron and Chris Bosh, it would have been uncomparable, my career compared to his, is basically what he's saying. And look, my only thought is this. Again, I don't think
it's far off for him to say that, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're acting like Paul Pierce isn't a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Paul Pierce was the shit.
Yeah, and then when we're talking about...
There's levels to this, though.
Yeah, there's definitely levels. But one, he's been healthier than Dwayne Wade. I'm not saying he's a better player. Mm-hmm. He's been healthier. And my thing that I pointed out, him and LeBron would have meshed better because he's more of a shooter than D Wade was. And for LeBron to sit there and be the think about it even like this, we go back to that Heat thing. A large point of discontent was the fact that LeBron would come to games sometime and expect D Wade to play, and then find out there that D Wade wasn't going to play, and the amount of games that D Wade was resting. Paul Pierce probably wouldn't even be doing that. And so again, who's better? D Wade's better. But Paul Pierce isn't a scrub. Like this kind of Paul Pierce being a scrub. Paul Pierce played on the team with Antoine Walker, who gave his team away. I was an Antoine Walker guy. Antoine Walker gave that team away way too quick to Paul Pierce, but he saw how good Paul Pierce was. Yeah. But looking at the player that Antoine Walker was, being a facilitator, being a big that can do a little bit of everything, it was kind of like, dude, you should be better than that. So I think Paul Pierce is a great NBA player. Your points of levels, yes. But where would his level be if he would have had that many championships? Because when he won that title and beat Kobe doing it, and we forget because we only had that little blip, it really elevated him to a level that I don't think many people were expecting necessarily.
And Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce, and the type of shape that he was in, and I mean, he was a Finals MVP, so technically he's the best player when you for that season when you end up when you cap it like that. Again, I think I know Dwayne Wade's a better player, but to say it's the most preposterous thing, I don't necessarily view it that way.
No, I definitely don't think so either. I definitely think if you would have had all those young guys, as Paul Pierce said, on the team with him, I'm with you. It would have elevated him even more. And he was already elevated because it was Boston. He was playing in Boston. No, he would have been more. He would have been
more, but he would have been able to do that too.
You don't know the Paul Pierce, the truth that was coming to the NBA. Fucking Paul Pierce can hoop.
I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying Paul. The reason why I think it's preposterous is because of what Dwayne Wade is a top 5 shooting guard. Paul Pierce isn't top 5 anything.
But that's kind of because he doesn't have a position. I mean, he's a small
He's a
forward.
three. He's a three.
Yeah, but he was
He a
kind
true
of
three.
Yeah,
He's
but
a-
he was
he's
a
a
little
true
bit
small
of
forward.
He was a little bit of both.
Both of what?
He was a big ass shooter.
Both of what?
He was a big ass shooting. I'm saying he was a tweener. He's a legit
you are
tweener.
what you can guard, and he couldn't stay in front of twos. He was a perfect 3.
He was a legit tweener between the 2 and the 3. This is getting back to the Shaq point, though. Think about what he would have been doing with Shaq being a better shooter and still at that age being able to get to the rim back in those. Like, I don't think you're giving his game props.
Man, Wade had a Jordan-esque finals when he,
He
had
did. He
Shaq.
did. I'm not.
he did.
Paul Pierce did
I
too.
don't know.
Yes, but
Jordan. We got to go back and look at those finals numbers against Dallas.
But that was
Wade
also because
was out here hooping.
It was better
That's
than what
also
Paul
because
Pierce
the refs
did
were
against the
calling
Lakers.
way too many free throw calls.
Somebody bring up the numbers for that Boston series.
And don't
That Boston,
forget too,
That
Kobe
finals, man.
Paul Pierce was the one that shut down Kobe Bryant. I think
The
he was
first year?
different.
The first
in that
championship?
finals.
The finals?
Yeah.
Paul had some D, but Paul didn't have D like Kobe
Wade.
or anything like that, or D
Like Wade.
Yeah. No, listen. I think the whole thing of him having a better career, if he would have had that, listen, fuck, if I was on the team, if I was playing, I would kind of say, not career-wise, but I'll have more championship rings. It'll be huge if he had those.
Yeah, we
other
was
guys.
rocking till you just said if it was you, dude.
No.
We was making headway, bro.
No. I'm just saying,
the union was working.
No. I'm saying in a sense, like, if I'm on that team with them, yeah, I can say, yeah, I got rings and shit like that. No. Listen, Paul Pierce, when he first came into the league, and as you said before, I have Antoine Walker kind of gave that team up. Being in Boston, having that level, could you imagine having a young Shaq or a young Chris Bosh in Boston?
Shaq wasn't young though, but
No,
it was
I'm
before
saying,
he
like,
was over the hill.
Bro, get out of here. Wade averaged 35, 8, and 4 and 3. Come on, man. In the finals.
What did Paul average?
Come on, man. Get out of
He
here.
obviously had
Get
the
outta here.
MVP.
He was Michael Jordan in that finals.
You don't even like Michael Jordan, so please don't mention his name.
I believe Paul Pierce in his MVP finals had 21.3 points a game.
Okay.
Look, I'm not
It's not a comparison. It's not a comparison to that series.
And I'm not saying Paul Pierce isn't a Hall of Famer. Paul Pierce is an absolute Hall of Famer. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame legit.
Yeah.
In the real Hall of Fame and in this current iteration of the Hall of Fame, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Okay.
But he's not better than Dwayne Wade, dude.
No one said he is.
I just think he said he would have had a better career if he would have had those guys. I don't think that's far-fetched
what
to
is that?
say.
Well,
It's not far-fetched to say.
Okay, put him on any great team. Yes, you would have had a better career.
Yeah.
Like, what's that argument? You put Wade on, another great team. Like, what? Like, what were we doing here? No. Are you a better player than Dwayne Wade? The answer is no.
I think it's a little sour grapes because LeBron
Because they don't love him like that.
Well,
like Draymond said. They don't love him like that. You don't get to walk away like that. You thought you was Kobe? They don't love him like that.
Nah. I think the whole thing was when LeBron, what Boston was shutting down LeBron when he was in Cleveland, and then he left Cleveland, went down to Miami, and that was the only way that he was able to get past Boston. I think some of it is sour grapes coming from Paul Pierce. Yeah, I think so.
What?
And him going down into
How's
Miami,
that sour
playing with
grapes?
D-Wade.
He had a super team. Nobody else had a super team.
That wasn't no super team like that.
LeBron created a super team.
Not like that.
What?
No, that D-Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, I'm sorry, by that time, Ray Allen and KG was past their prime. Yes, they got the 2 finals and
They were over the hill, but they were still great players. Like KG was making all NBA teams.
Not then. Not he
Well, he
should
was making all defensive teams.
Yeah, but he wasn't making all NBA teams. Slow it down now.
Like-
Slow it down, son.
KG
Slow
was
it down.
hooping.
now.
KG was hooping.
That wasn't the
Ray
same. But
Allen was
listen,
hooping.
that wasn't
He was
the same.
hooping. He
That
was
wasn't
hooping.
even the same KG. That's not the KG.
He was a spot-up
defender.
shooter then.
Yeah, that wasn't. But that's not the KG defender.
Elbow hitter.
Like those are not like you say. If they're over the hill, that means that they're. I mean, we can say that they were great players, but they were over the hill. It's not the same as players in their prime joining forces together. That's not the same. How can it become the same?
But you're saying, they made a greater team
because
of what they did, though.
But we're saying this. We're also saying this.
He couldn't beat them.
They were still good.
Historically, in time, old players towards the end have always joined forces in any sport. That's happened in football when you can look at Daniel Gilbert trying to do it with the Washington football team. It's happening when we just pointed out with Houston Rockets and with even with the Celtics. The difference is you never saw it with younger players because usually guys wanted to define their career with competition against those who are their equals, usually from the same generation. So that's the only point we're making of the difference between those teams.
I agree with you.
I'm not. No, you do.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying, hot boy over here. He's like, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do all this shit. Like, no, so you can still be accurate while you're doing that, though. You can still be accurate while you're doing that.
But yeah, I don't think it's that far fetched thing to say from Paul Pierce. It's a little sour grapes, though. I'm sure
it's not far fetched. He's not better than Dwayne Wade.
He's not better than Dwayne Wade.
No, he's not. No. He is not better than Dwayne Wade. No, he is not.
I mean, this is the thing too. Give me this. Before his 3, who did he play with? I mean,
You talking about Paul Pierce?
Yes, it just points to the fact he never had anybody
Ricky
to play
Davis?
with.
Ricky Davis?
Antoine Walker, Joe Johnson.
Yeah, Joe Johnson. Yeah.
Walter McCartney.
I love Walter.
Yeah. Like,
he didn't play with nobody. Really.
Who did he play with? Like, was Rick Fox even there when he was there?
No, Rick Fox was on the Lakers at that time.
Exactly. What was what's the name's name? The combo guard. I remember he's one of the guys that Red Auerbach. No, it was his last name began with a W. It was he ended up in.
Oh, Eric Williams.
No, he was a combo guard.
Did Chauncey Billups play with Paul Pierce too?
Maybe. I think they did.
He didn't. Paul Pierce wasn't there. It was only Antoine was there because Antoine had been in the league for like 1 or 2 years. Because you're talking about the Rick Pitino team. Rick Pitino traded Chauncey Billups. Because Paul Pierce wasn't there yet. Paul Pierce wasn't there yet. Paul Pierce was there like a year and a half later is when Paul Pierce came into the league. So no, he didn't play with.
I'm saying any iteration of Paul Pierce. Yeah, it may be closer if you kept the same and then added all those pieces that Dwayne had. It may be closer, but it's still obvious. Like,
you don't think
not a better player.
You don't think
Dwayne
those
Wade.
better players would have elevated his game though?
Again, what are we talking about? You can insert player here, insert better players there. That player becomes better. That argument is kind of like it's not a real argument. Of course,
would Dwayne Wade still have the same career then?
Well, if Dwayne had the same exact career in terms of people involved in his career,
he can't. They with Paul.
No, I'm just saying. If
Well,
we're putting
okay,
them,
listen to the thing. Switch them.
Oh, Wade's still a better player.
But what's the difference in
Career-wise, it won't be the
distance? In the distance,
like
of
Tracy, because
if Wade
like for instance, Tracy McGrady hasn't won as much as Paul Pierce. I take T-Mac over Paul Pierce as a player.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. I think you have to also apply the fact of Dwayne Wade's injury history. All right, because Dwayne Wade's going to be a lot more one of those players to be like, man, he was cold, but he was hurt a lot. And because if you're talking about during his career, the swath of his career, he doesn't have, or he only has like one bona fide kind of star, and then in the end of his career, he has 2 more bona fide stars. He doesn't make it to that end and at that elite level because even when he got LeBron, he started taking games off all the time. So I don't think it'll be exactly the same because he's not going to get to rest as much, and clearly he needs to rest.
You can clearly say this: if he did not have LeBron James and Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade would not have another title.
Yeah,
he would have just that one. That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah.
LeBron would have had it though, because him and Chris Bosh would have came here.
That would have been nice.
He just said that like last week or something.
Who, LeBron said that?
You talking about when with Chris Bosh's getting his jersey home? He was like, I didn't know if we were going to be in Miami, if we were going to be in Chicago, but I was going to be with Chris Bosh.
Man.
I know, I'm with you. It's all good. Listen, that's what Jerry Reinsdorf told him to say. Hey man, here goes $5. Can you just say that when you're doing that, please?
Say like Kobe talking about he was about to buy a house and he was
Man,
going
that
to get traded to
offseason is
Chicago.
going to be.
But they wanted Dwayne Wade because he fit their lineup a little bit better.
I'm going to remember that offseason for the rest of my life.
I wish I knew you then.
I was so
Were
hurt.
you that pissed?
I was so mad.
Ooh, that was.
I was so mad.
It was that man. Listen, they had Chicago. They had Chicago radio shows off.
I wasn't mad at them at the LeBron or Wade or Bosh.
He's mad.
I was mad that they couldn't get it done. They had the best team available.
It made sense
in the biggest market available outside New York, but New York was trash.
That was done way before.
Oh man, it's like,
Tony, that was done. That was done way before.
And here's the biggest thing: they use that even to this day. Hey, we almost got no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, that's bullshit. We all know that.
Oh man,
that deal was done during the Olympics. Come on, man. Pat Riley, man, he had that.
LeBron James passing to a diving Derrick Rose to the lane.
It would have been nice.
LeBron would have been mad when Derrick blew his knee out. He'd be like, motherfucker. Where Rich Paul at? Rich. We flying the fuck out of here right now.
But think about it, though. If Derrick would have went down, you still would have
Derrick would have never been MVP.
No, he wouldn't have been that. But
I'd have been fine with that.
But would Derek ever become Derek?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Because listen, Kyrie, although they probably get together again, but Kyrie had to leave and kind of do his own Kyrie thing. But think about if Derrick Rose when it went down. They still would have had LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Noah, and who else? That team still could have won. That team still could have won.
I just realized something. This brought up like memories. I think that went into a little bit on my thing with Derrick Rose too, is because he didn't help that situation. He wasn't in there like, look, man, we can make this team. He was like, man, I'm cool with him. I'm cool without him. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Go in that meeting and ask them to play with you.
But didn't that next year he won MVP?
Yes.
I don't
Preach,
care.
Tony.
I don't care about the
Preach
championship. I don't care about no dumb MVPs.
Guess
Get
what
out
I
of here.
got? See, you know what the problem with that is? You don't have championships. Being someone with championships. I prefer Derrick Rose MVP season.
Remember when
for real. Because it wouldn't have been listen, it was so organic.
Yeah.
That little chemistry set LeBron team, it would have been sweet, but it wouldn't have been the like in my Chicago heart. But for oh my God,
it would have been very different for Chicago.
To see what
Derrick
Derrick Rose
like
did that rookie that MVP year.
Came out preseason.
Amazing.
Why can't I win it? Why can't I win it? And he won it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was the first person to say he was going to be MVP that year.
Give me the
You can
championship.
go back to him. Yes, ask Maddie.
Too bad he couldn't
We
show
were
up to
having
that
discussion. I was like, no, he's MVP. That was in like October, November. I was like,
Was that 08? 09. When did he win MVP?
It may have been
2011. The 2010, 2011 season.
Okay, I'm sorry. 2011.
And that was the same year they lost to the Heat in LeBron's first year in the conference
okay,
final.
my fault. I'm way far back.
Oh, so with that, I'm sorry. If titles are fun, it'd be nice to have one. That LeBron title was never gonna feel legit. It was always gonna have a little. You don't have a title, so you want one. I got real titles.
I remember
here.
Jordan.
You remember Jordan.
I
You
saw
didn't-
the last shot.
You didn't live through it.
I
How
lived
old are
a
you?
little.
How old are you?
30. 29.
You're close enough.
Just
But
about
still
30.
not. But see, y'all, even with that, y'all got like.
How were you like 8?
Y'all got this mic.
I remember watching
Listen,
the
y'all
final
got this
shot
mic.
live.
This
I
is-
watched that
This
finals.
is how Mike was dunking when y'all can see.
No, I'm with you though.
Like
I don't
I saw
fully
this mic. I
have
saw this mic
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah. Kiss the rim.
Yeah, like when it was like.
I don't disagree. I
Yeah.
haven't seen a real Bulls title.
That's the thing. Like it's one of the purest feelings you can ever
when the
have.
Cubs, because that was the first title
You
I
see,
ever
But you know
seen
the problem
on
with
my
that?
team.
Yeah.
How it ended up. It still hamstrings the Cubs to this day. The whole shenanigans and how people was mad at Joe Madden. And that started this whole thing that goes to today as far as people, because as soon as the Cubs had finally won, it was, what the fuck was Joe doing?
Oh, talking about the rain delay
Yeah,
and all that
and
shit?
it didn't give Cubs fans the pure happiness that
Oh
they
my
deserve. And that's like
I'll never
listen,
forget that ride.
The Bears, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Bears have to win
That was a
because
crazy ride.
that championship did not allow you to really bust your wad the way
I
that
agree.
it did. It was like
Because they were supposed to.
You
I
went
didn't get. I
to
didn't.
the
I came, but it wasn't an
darkest
orgasm.
floor of a Cubs fan at that point in time. There was no lower point in a Cubs fan's life. You won the World Series, and now you're tied.
Yeah, dude.
About to lose this thing in Game 7 when you came back 3-1.
That's
Cubs.
not.
So
That's
Cubs.
like that's not
Coming
even,
back from
that's not really,
Woods,
that's not
like
really
you feel
winning.
great. It's
Yeah.
like getting like being picked up by an emergency.
Yes,
Thank God I'm alive,
exactly.
but what an
Great point.
ordeal.
Yeah, dude. No. You need a clean championship. Like nothing. Like if the Bears win one, it's gonna be like, oh my goodness. Like you need a clean. Even when the Sox won, it was like, oh, we just whooping their ass up in here. What day we gonna do this? All right, like we're not gonna be like you
They
need
won again.
You
All
need
right,
a
let's go.
clean.
Yeah.
You don't
How
want
did we
any of
lose
that
those 2
muck.
games?
I know. How did we? No, one game. We lost one game. We lost one game in this.
You don't want any of that muck on it. Like that's the thing. Like if you get and that's I want that. Like I talk to my son all the time. Like, man, when you get you a real championship here in your city, it's gonna be different when you get you one.
Let's not poo-poo over the Blackhawks.
But see, that wasn't my team
Those
at
Stanley
the
Cup.
time.
I feel you. I feel you.
And that's from the white guy.
Easily.
Nothing else needs to be said.
Those Stanley Cups.
Thanks for taking this black out for us. Come on, dude. You know what we mean. Hey, D, you know what we're talking about in here, brother.
I know.
You know what we're talking about in
But
here.
those Stanley Cup.
Boy, Illinois was just sitting in here. You disrespected them.
Those Stanley Cup championships were fun to watch. That's all I gotta say. They were fun to watch. It's not like
I'm talking about
the
your,
six-
but again, when he said
my
your
team, your team
that you've
nothing.
been. Listen,
Those
if the
7
Bulls-
championships.
Look, during like
Those
put it
7
this way,
championships would
put
be
it this
never
way.
knows.
During the Blackhawks parade, it was an inconvenience for me.
Damn, Tony. Damn.
Make a left turn.
Right.
Me too. I was down here. Me too. Son. It was nice,
the
though.
cover
It was
is-
nice.
I was
That
cool.
was nice. It was nice.
Yeah,
it was
but-
nice.
yeah.
But you know, it was nothing like walking down LaSalle during what is that? Heroes Alley over there when the Sox had won it.
Yeah.
Clean.
That was so nice, man.
Were you out there during the parade?
No, I couldn't make it. I had to go do
jealous.
something.
So jealous.
Oh man,
Hey man, you got a championship. Don't
I
be
know,
so-
but remember too, at the time it was 03.
Oh, 03.
And then
03
you
was
see
right
the White
there.
Sox getting your like,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so. Listen, I remember that was where being a Sox fan that I really still cared about what the fuck the Cubs were doing. Now I know.
Oh, I don't give a shit now.
Well, now I only wish them happiness. I only wish the Cubs happy. I don't have time to be hating nobody in the team.
I was more
But I
into
remember in 03, be like, these motherfuckers about to win before us. And it was like done. And then it was like for that shit to just. If I remember after the whole Alex Gonzalez and then the what's the name? Bartman. Yeah,
You gotta
Bartman.
go even a little before that though. 3-1 lead.
That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
And then still had the game 7. But you knew it was like
It was over.
It was like they're not winning that. Right?
I would beat Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor.
I was my guy.
Oh man, Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor.
My guy Anton was throwing poetry nights out at this place. Matter of fact, right across the street from Arnie's. So we in there watching the yeah. What the fuck are y'all doing poetry? It was his bar. It was I think it was called Sweetwater.
Like, come over here, listen. Yeah. Then go over there and get your dick sucked for $20.
He actually had some pretty good turnouts. We would.
I bet it was across the Hey, it was across the from Arnie's.
Playoff game, all right.
Yeah. But we watched game 6 or 7 in there. Anton's a huge Cubs fan. And I was like, no, it might have been game 6. And I was like, yeah.
That was
dude.
the ugly one.
I was like, yeah, dude, y'all not gonna win this. It was like a projection screen. We was watching it in there. My cousin Justin, God rest his soul, he was up in there with us. But yeah, we had a good time. I was like, and me and him were huge Sox fans. And we was like, Anton, like, y'all ain't gonna win this shit. Like, I'm gonna just let you know right now. That ain't gonna happen.
It was so close though.
It was close.
And wasn't it Miguel Cabrera
I
that
was
hit the
just
home
about to say
run?
Miggy Cabrera.
Yeah, Miggy Cabrera.
That's when
came
Miggy
up.
Cabrera made his
He was
name.
19?
That
About 19 years
postseason.
old?
Him, Dontrell Willis,
Yeah.
Trader Jack was
Yeah.
sitting there.
Juan Pierre, I think, was on that team.
Yeah.
Mike Lowell.
Yeah, Louis Castillo.
You had
Yeah.
what's his
Louis
name that became the Cubs was playing first?
Oh, Derek Lee.
Derek Lee. Right? Like,
Yeah, they had a nice little team on it.
Oh, they had a team.
Beckham?
That
Yeah,
team,
Beckham.
yeah, Josh Beckham was there.
Yeah, Beckham was on
They
that
had
team.
a squad. That was how you draft right there.
Especially
man.
when Cabrera started becoming Miguel
Cabrera.
Cabrera.
Yeah.
And then what
Josh
they do?
Beckett.
Tore right back
We said
down.
Josh Beckett.
Yeah, Josh Beckett, yeah.
Carlos Zambrano.
It's
Couldn't
all
beat
right,
him
though.
once.
Man, you respect Carlos. Put some respect
No,
on Carlos.
So wait, hold on, real quick.
I don't
So,
have a problem with Carlos Zambrano. He
minute,
just
so-
couldn't beat Beckett either time.
so
with
what
you.
team are you looking forward to the most to win a championship?
We have the Ming Dynasty on the run, my friend.
That's right. We're not just talking repeat or three-peat. We're talking a minimum 8-peat.
Oh, the Bulls.
The Bulls?
Yeah.
Not even over the Bears?
There are no easy questions in this life, my friend. Except for one. That, of course, retaining the triumphant party in next year's Super Bowl.
I know of whom you speak.
Let's just say that the winner shall be a certain team from a certain Midwestern town that starts with a C, ends with an O, and in the middle is Hikag.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. I just want to make sure.
That's a good one.
I mean, it's definitely between the Bulls and the Bears. No doubt
Bulls
about
and
it.
Bears. It's slightly high. I was old enough to remember the Bears championship.
Well,
I was
Bulls, White Sox, Bears.
You got some years for that White Sox one.
I know, but it's gonna be.
Even though how it's starting out this year.
Right. I'm an A man.
Makata.
But Tony,
But Tony sing. But go around.
Tony can't pick the Bears where the whole city can come together, Tony. You got
The
to pick the
wait,
ones.
the Bulls can't. The whole city can't come
Hey,
out.
you know people are against the Bulls.
What are you saying?
It's Blackhawks Bulls. You know that. You know
What
that.
are you saying?
I'm on the right side, but you know that line exists.
Goddamn Bulls.
I would say Bears though. Bears or Bulls. I
Fantasy
would be
football
going
has
either one.
ruined rooting for an individual team for me.
It does. It has hammered.
Because if I had to pick one,
That's why I don't like
I'm
playing
like I'm more Alabama loyalty than
Boy, you out of your fucking mind.
Bears. So
Alabama
Wait,
won.
hey, you're
Alabama
loyal
won
to his
two
mic
times.
off, all right?
I'm an
But
Alabama
fantasy football,
stand.
but
dog.
fantasy football has ruined football.
But dog,
for me.
look, wait. Alabama has. It's like being a Patriots fan, being an Alabama fan.
I want my fantasy team to win over everything.
Except Nick Saban doesn't have that ice.
All right, Sydney, what team?
Me personally, I think it will be the Bears who will give me the most joy, and then the White Sox because I've seen the White Sox win the World Series. The Bears, I was little. I know about that team. I studied that team. I watched the film. I watched the games. But the Bears for me because I was working in sports radio when they went to the Super Bowl back in 2006 and they lost to the Colts. Looking at that first half, I was just like, you knew that it was going downhill.
Yeah,
I think it'll be
I couldn't
more,
told you they weren't going to win that one, brother.
Right.
Shout out to
But the
Payman.
Bears winning it would be more special to me. It's like, now you know that what the way they're going right now.
I forgot you're a Blackhawks fan.
He's seen 3 of them, so he all right now.
I'm talking about the Bulls. He just hated on. He said the Bears and then the White Sox, and didn't say nothing about the Bulls. White Sox won in 05.
I just said I saw the White Sox win, and I saw the
what
Bulls
you're
win in 06, so I'm good as far as those other teams. Just want to see the Bears win.
One other reason why I think I might have the Bears slightly ahead is because we had the previous year where you saw this hope and this building and development. If we saw that from the Bulls next year, I think that would really drive up like the championship want. But when you just see them just stuck in the mud, you're like, I mean, yeah, I want a championship,
When the
but
Bulls
when are
are
we
hot
talking?
in Chicago, you hear people talking, I'm going to watch the game. I'm like, what game? Like people that don't watch football, like, I'm going to watch the game. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
When the Bulls are hot, they come back out. All the old Jordan, all those people, whatever. Me, it's kind of tied with me because I would say the Bears, and I think the Bears are, of course, they're close. I think the Bears are close to winning. Perhaps they have a chance to. Yeah. But it's something about that basketball championship, man, and especially like the shit talk.
It brings out the South Side and the West Side.
You really can't shit like you really can't shit talk with motherfuckers about the Bears won. Like, that ain't fun shit talking. But when you sitting there talking to somebody and be like, yeah, man, I like Golden State, like with the Bulls up in that motherfucking ass, right? That shit's like, the type of shit talking that you can do is totally different.
And for me, like, unless you do it like the one-off that Philly did, like football, it's not sustained because it's like, well, you won off a fluke. You cannot be the best team in the league and win. And I have a problem with that. But in baseball, well, in randomness of baseball too. But basketball, you win a championship, you were the best team.
And you probably have
in
a high
rare
chance.
In rare cases, like the LeBron one in Cleveland, and that was a rare case where you can say, I don't think the best team won. But most of the time, you win a championship.
Yeah.
We own it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
and also, too, if you win it, that probably means 9 times out of 10, you have a possibility of winning a few of them.
Yes.
Yeah, because typically in basketball, it's like you win one, like, okay, we probably get another 2 or 3 out of this motherfucker.
That basketball, it's something more sexy about that basketball.
It's definitely more elusive because if you don't have that team, you're just
It's very
that
elusive.
that superstar to begin everything with.
Yeah. How many teams have won a championship in the NBA? Overall, 10 to 12, maybe?
That's more than that.
You think it's more than that?
Yeah, it's more than that.
I mean, we have so
But
many
I mean, look at
dynasties.
the last like 10,
you're talking about,
15 years.
It's more
Franchise.
Teams, it's more teams that have won than have not won.
Okay. I mean, it's 30 teams now. Obviously, we got expansion over the years, obviously. But, I mean, it's not it's kind of rare because you get these dynasties in basketball. I mean, you just have a good run. It's like these 3 best guys are better than the rest of the league. You're going to win it every time.
I mean, basically since the 2000s, what are we talking about? Spurs, Heat,
No,
Lakers.
we're saying that the whole shebango as far as
Yeah, how
like
many
some
teams over the NBA
that
history?
we remember? Because we're not going to get more than 10 teams in that span.
I think it's about 10 to 12 teams.
No, it's like 13.
It's 13 teams? All right.
We got the
One
Lakers, Spurs, Pistons, Celtics, the Heat.
Right. Golden
Warriors.
State.
Yeah, 13, 14.
About 13, 14? Yeah, it ain't that many.
Dallas won one.
I got 19.
Washington got one in there.
You got 19? You got 19 teams that won the NBA championship?
Yeah, it depends on how far you're going back.
Well,
So I'll say this: if I get rid of even one of these teams, it's still 18. As far I
Can
get
you
rid
run
of
them down
2.
for us?
I got the Boston Celtics with 17, Minneapolis, Los Angeles with 16, Philly, San Francisco, and Golden State 6. So think about that. If they really take that out, because they're putting the Wilt Chamberlain's Philadelphia team with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, it's the same franchise.
I'm just still saying,
Right, 'cause
but
they were the Philadelphia Warriors.
yeah, I know that, but I mean,
I'm
even
counting those. I'm counting. I'm
I
counting.
mean, even you could, but
the franchise.
again, I'm not separate. They're including them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Chicago, San Antonio, Philadelphia 76ers,
Okay.
the Detroit Pistons, the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, Houston Rockets, Cleveland, Atlanta, St. Louis, Atlanta, the Wizards or Bullets, the West Unsold team. You got to think the Seattle Supersonics, Oklahoma City Thunder. That's the Dennis Johnson team from with Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah.
All right, you got
Blazers.
You got the Portland Trailblazers with Bill Walton, Milwaukee with Lou Alcindor and with Big
Oscar.
O. You got the Dallas Mavericks. You got the Baltimore Bullets. This is now we're getting down. These are the 2 I could take off: the Baltimore Bullets and the Kansas City Royals or the Sacramento Kings. Now, I could take those off because that's 48 and 51, but that still leaves you with 17 teams that have won championships. I'm just saying, like, more than half. I thought more teams have won.
I think it was more than half than won it.
Yeah, it was more than one than I had in the NBA.
Hopefully the Knicks never win one again.
I don't even care as much about the Knicks one. Like, that used to be the enemy of the Bulls. Yeah. So, I mean, it's still a little bit of there, but it's kind of like
they've been so pathetic.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever. Get it out the way so I ain't got to hear about it no more.
It probably feels
I enjoy the
same way about us.
patheticism. I love it.
But can you imagine Knicks fans with a championship though?
Well, that's their team in New
Lord
York,
have
right?
mercy. Yeah,
Like, that's their Bears.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You would never. You
or
wouldn't
the
hear the
Yankees,
end
though.
of that shit.
They
But
used
do
to
you-
winning with the Yankees though.
Huh?
They used to.
No,
win with the
he
Yankees.
said their
But do you
team.
think
That's
that
their
New
team.
York,
I think the
their
Knicks.
favorite
I think they
franchise
love
is
the
the
Knicks,
Knicks?
man.
I
I think
think
their
that-
favorite franchise
No,
is
the
the
I
Knicks.
still
man.
think
The
there's
Yankees,
still
the
some
Yankees.
people. Getting back to your point.
We work in sports. We can book a guest.
Yes, we can. But getting back to your points about the Bulls and the Blackhawks, I think there are people in New York who probably are more baseball and other fans than everyone. And I know people look at it as the basketball mecca. Everyone in New York isn't diehard basketball fans. I'm just pointing. That's my point as far as I mean. We're talking about baseball, the oldest sport in America. They have the greatest baseball
I think
organization
they're way more Yankees
ever.
fans.
So that's all. But
Yeah,
his point was who's the city belong to? Like Chicago's a Bears town, right?
Oh,
then
it's gotta be
then the
number one.
Cubs.
Yeah,
then,
the Yankees.
So I'm just pointing out. I don't know if you can say hands down that the Knicks are the team. I would still have to say perhaps people would have the Yankees over the Knicks, and it would kind of be like
It
that.
might go Yankees then Giants,
I don't know.
then Knicks.
Maybe. Because again, it's football. You could
That's
be
what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's football.
But I can't just say like everyone is like the Knicks.
Because what you got, Long Island and Queens might be repping for the Jets.
Yeah, it's not like the
That
Jets
might
have
be-
this huge
Right,
fan
and
base.
they weren't
in
even
New
an
York.
NFL team. They was an AFL team and just kind of got brung into it. So
And LA is the Lakers, right? That's their top.
Yeah. It seemed like
There's a Lakers
Or is it the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Ballmer may move them to Seattle.
Ooh, what?
He may move the Clippers to Seattle. I mean, back to Seattle.
Oh, really?
If they don't give him
That's
that
the word?
if they don't give him that stadium.
Well, bye.
Why would they give him another? Why would they make another one?
He
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
want to be in the Lakers stadium.
Yeah, he wants the revenue.
That's not
from it.
good for
Nobody,
Brandon.
nobody is crying over the Clippers though in L.A.
No, this is his thing. For him to be the team that he wants that team to be, they don't want to play big brother and little brother's house.
They've
'cause
been a better team.
But remember what Kobe told them that they would have to move to Anaheim if he signed with them because he didn't want to play in the Staples Center. Like, you don't want to be like, yeah, we the Clippers up in here. They'd be like, but this our motherfucking house.
Yeah.
Like, you
Over the
want to
last
be.
what do you say decade? They've been the better team.
No, I'm just pointing out why an owner would want his own place.
No,
And also,
no, that's fine. You can
that's
move
what,
it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And aren't they missing out on a ton of revenue?
That's
as
what I was
well?
just about to get to. His own revenue.
Yeah.
Not that I get it on these nights here. No. What about the nights when nothing's there and I can make it the money myself?
I didn't-
But
I
the
didn't
thing
hear
is
about
always
going
the
to
fear.
Seattle.
Remember, he's a Microsoft guy.
Yeah.
Seattle's open. It'd be terrible to take the Clippers who've been in LA for so long away, but still, it's open. It's
When
an
did they
open
go
city.
to Los Angeles? Because they was in San Diego first.
In the
84.
80s? Yeah.
84?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dude was cheap. In a
Yeah,
terrible
but
owner.
before they moved to San Diego, they were the Buffalo Braves in the 70s.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Good call, Sid. No, if they go to Seattle, I mean,
They got
that'd
to
be
take
good
the
for the league.
Sonics moniker, right?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
still
they
up there.
will.
That's
I'm
still
sure
up
they
there.
will.
Yeah, they will. It's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
That expansion team that's supposed to be so great this year.
Yeah.
Your team went someplace else and won titles. You were 1 year away from having Ray Lewis do those murders in your uniform. Anyway. All right, let me get to two topics real quick. I'm sure this one will be good. Joaquin Phoenix is the serious villain in the Joker movie.
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Stop them! Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
I wasn't pleased with that preview.
You didn't like it?
It wasn't that. I think Joaquin Phoenix is terrific. Mm-hmm. I think the movie may be pretty good. I just don't like this. I don't need this. First of all, he's regular. You know how I feel about regular, right?
He's regular?
Yeah.
What do you mean he's regular?
I mean, what's his superpower?
He's a Joker. Joker doesn't have superpowers.
Well,
that means he's regular.
No, maybe that's why. This is what we learned, that there are levels of insanity that the
He's never
average
had
insane
superpowers.
person hasn't gone into. That the Joker has gone into in terms of the depths of being an insane person.
Wait a minute, you don't like the Joker because he doesn't have superpowers?
No, not at all. That has nothing to do
Okay,
with
so
Maybe this
my point
is
in this
there's
movie-
never been a story told, not even in the comics really. They got into
Killing Joke.
the Killing Joke a little bit, but in terms of delving into
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no,
what it
no,
means
no
to
doubt.
be
Guess
insane,
this isn't what
to create like
this
this
isn't why we come
supervillain.
here. That's what this
Wait,
isn't
so
why
what-
I'm interested.
This isn't why
So
we
wait, what's
come
the
here.
problem with it?
I don't come. Listen, I don't come here for this.
You don't come here for what?
I don't come here to sit.
Backstories?
What'd you say?
Backstories?
No. What the point that you just eloquated so terrifically? I don't come here to do the psychodrama and the deep dive into someone's psychosis into this. That's not what I don't come to comic book movies for that.
So you want to see some shit blow up?
Pretty much.
Out of space.
No, it's not even got to be. You know, I'm not the biggest out of space blowing up person. I told you that when Captain Marvel's previews came
Oh, that's
out.
true. Okay.
All right. No, it's so. I think this movie is going to be good, and I think it's going to be well played.
I don't know if it's gonna be good. I hope it's good.
I just don't think it's for me. I don't need to go see that. Like, especially at the show. Like, I definitely don't need to go see that.
Did you
at the
not
show.
like Dark Knight?
He was still doing superhero type shit.
Well, I mean, you had the superhero in
Like
it.
this
but
dude
just-
walking around showing how nasty his back is and how ill-formed he is, and then kind of running around. It's kind of like, oh, I guess. What does my man say
But
with
have
the
we-
J. Cole thing? I guess.
I mean, have we had a movie strictly dedicated to a villain?
Yeah, we have. He just wasn't a big name villain. We've definitely had terrific.
Venom?
We've definitely had terrific. Now, let me
He's
just
an anti-hero.
But this is the point I'm just trying to make. I'm sure if we go to the history of cinema, we've had some great movies delve into the mind state of people that are viewed as being off. They're
Superhero?
He's not a superhero.
No. The genre of comics in
That my point is, I don't need it in this genre.
But this is the first. In recent memory, this is going to be the first one I get to see.
I
though.
don't get this. You're hamstrung on the simple fact of it's a superhero genre, and you don't want it to go delve into this.
Yeah, I know
this realm.
I don't need it to.
Ken's afraid that there's not going to be enough superhero.
That's
in the
part
movie.
of it. It's just not this. I don't go here for you to do this with superhero
But
stuff.
there's plenty of. Okay, all right. I mean,
that's
fine if you don't like
that
that
genre,
particular
that realm is kind of what's popular right now in movie going. Us and Get Out and people thinking and having people now are making movies where you have to talk about them when you leave. Where you just, oh, that was a great blow up movie, and then you leave it there. People are now making movies where no, we want you to discuss our movie until our next movie comes out.
and we're hoping that this
with
movie
us,
would do that. Though.
You didn't. I mean, even if you use Us as an example, they're not the same type of movie, though. You can still make a Joker movie that we can talk. This when you're using that, you're making it seem like it's mutual exclusive. That you have to take this lane in the Joker movie for us to talk about it after the movie. They're not. That's not mutual exclusive.
I think that if what you're saying, it would have been like the Jared Leto Joker and something kind of wrong.
Even if it's just the.
I'm saying you pulling that out of Suicide Squad.
I think exactly what Tony said as far as psychosis and how deeper you're going into is what I'm saying. I don't need it to a supervillain. I don't need to find this out about a supervillain because that's not why I come to check him out.
Well, you never really wondered what in obviously when we're talking about superheroes and stuff like that, we're giving up the realm of reality.
Yeah, right.
Reality.
Right.
But
Are you
I've
gonna
always
tell me why he does it?
I've always wondered what can cause a human being to go that far.
And I'm gonna tell you why not. The thing with characters like this will never be the pinned down reason of why. It'll just be one. So adding to that, if you're telling me this is the de facto period going forward, this is canon, this is why who the Joker is, cool, I get that. Being another offshoot where there always be other canons as far as universes of why the Joker became the Joker, it makes me not as interested because it's just, oh yeah, but remember in this Joker, this is why he became the Joker. Yeah, but in Dark Knight 36, this is why he's the Joker. So when you're saying that, if you're telling me that this is it, yeah, but we know this isn't it. This is a side project. So no, it doesn't bring me in like that because it's kind of like if you ever grew up reading like what if comic books.
Elseworlds.
It's a what if comic book, basically. That's what it is. And the thing real quick, the thing with what if comic books that they were good, but why they weren't great is because you knew that wasn't the reality and that wasn't how it was going to be moving forward.
But comic books, you can do stories any kind of way.
I don't know if you guys are up to date on what happened in the comics. so far in terms of Batman. I think maybe a year ago it came out. Batman sat in a God seat.
Yeah, I know the God shit.
Yeah.
And he found out who killed his parents.
Yeah, and he found out who was the Joker, and he found out there were 3 Jokers. So maybe that's what they're doing with the live action is explaining that story.
But again,
I don't think they're doing that.
I don't think.
But they made the Jared Leto Joker, and now they're making this Joker.
I think
so.
this
Maybe.
But now,
maybe
see,
they're
now
doing
you
that.
Wait a minute,
now you're pulling the D with what's in the Robert Downey Jr. becoming a producer. Now you're just making up what you like when you're starting to say that right there.
But I'm throwing it. Look,
not throwing it out. Let's go off of what we know. Let's go off of what we know. Let's go off of what we know.
This isn't a case where different entities are making different movies. No, DC has complete control over their content. If in the comics they're doing this where they're making 3 different stories for Joker, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they might want to do that via film.
It's a possibility they might want to go that
That's all I'm saying.
The only way I'll tell you that's not true. We would know by now that they would have included that and told us, DC's doing this with the Jokers. It wouldn't just because I know, look, I don't read comic books. I know about the God seat. I know about the 3 Jokers because when I read that, I do a deep dive into that. DC, while they're putting this out, would tell us this goes along with this storyline. So, yeah, because you read it, but they would give us an inkling. As many type of fan rags that you can read or fan rants, they would tell us that was part of this. It's not part of it.
I think this is more so of a passion project.
I agree with that.
Joaquin Phoenix wanted to do, and I think he kind of pitched it like, hey, let's just do this. I think looking at what's so far with the DECU, whatever you want to call it, I think it sucked. And I think they was like, fuck it, let's try something different. And at least from the trailer, I'm very curious about it because it's not what we have seen previous before. It's something completely different. So that's why it's drawing me in because we haven't seen.
It feels like a Nolan film. And
we haven't.
The Dark Knight was one of our favorite movies of all time.
A Martin Scorsese movie to me, the way they kind of shot it. Because he was actually originally tied to it. He was supposed to be the director.
It's not. It doesn't look blow up-y enough to be a Scorsese.
Scorsese doesn't blow up shit. That's Michael Bay.
That's Michael Bay. Martin Scorsese is like the Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather. Yeah, it's like more so the city kind of tells the story.
Him and Al Pacino have made big time movies.
Who made Django?
That was Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay.
You sit your ass the fuck down. He jumped in on you like he knew he was like, no, about this Scorsese. He doesn't blow up like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It feels more like that.
Motherfuckers be thinking they know what the fuck they talking about.
Wait a minute. It feels like that. That's why I disagree. Not disagree, but why I'm pulling in. Not saying that, you feel how you feel. Right, you feel how I feel. Yeah. That's the reason why I think it's pulling me in because it's just something completely different, and because we know there's so many iterations of the origin story of the Joker, here's something that's kind of like, okay, let's kind of see how they put a twist on it. It's like, oh shit, the cast is good. It's live action. It's separated from a DCU. I'm hoping that this kind of breathes some life back into the DC movies.
I don't care.
I'm hoping, but it probably won't be nothing.
Yeah, like what they're gonna be putting out.
It's not connected to anything with Aquaman. It's not connected to anything to Shazam. It's just his own little piece of
probably
art.
Be too good.
Well, I heard Shazam is supposed to be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it
it's
today.
getting great reviews.
It's getting great reviews. I'm going to see it today.
I'll see it. Yeah, I'll see it.
But I think it's
Do you
just
guys-
something of its own, and I like this. It's something of its own.
There's nothing wrong with you. Like what you're saying. But see, you're gonna go see most of the comic book things off GP.
Yeah.
I don't go see most of the comic book things. I again said I think this movie's going to be very good. I think the people behind it are good. If you give me Joaquin Phoenix, I'm pretty much down. I think so, but it just gets to the point of I'm not interested in seeing this storyline for the Joker.
Yeah, it's kind of like
that's just my only thing.
It's kind of like
that.
music and like hip hop in different genres. You got trap, you got classic hip hop, you got down south. It's just something different within that genre.
My last point. Again, this could be any person that's trying to hold on or grasp to reality. I feel like it's just, all right, let's just put the Joker on here because he's the poster child for people that are trying to hold on to reality or far going for reality. So I think this movie could have come out with any character being the main character about it. Of course, it makes more sense to use the Joker because the Joker is pretty much the if he's not the ultimate, he's the penultimate supervillain or villain or whatever.
Oh, but we have another one coming. We have another movie coming out, kind of tied into the DCU. That's the Harley Quinn movie. And she's kind of like I don't know if you call her an anti-hero. I think she's kind of like just a villain. I don't know. You call her an anti-hero?
It's 30-70.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's coming out very soon because I think it has a very long name to it, but that's coming out. I
Anybody
believe
interested in
next
Harley
year.
Quinn like that? Like to do a deep dive on Harley Quinn?
Now, is that only Harley Quinn, or are there other female?
I think it's other female superheroes
like
going to be a
Poison
part of
Ivy
it.
or something.
No, I think it's like Poison Ivy and maybe Canary. I'm not exactly sure, but but she spearheaded it. See, the one thing that's kind of cool about this with DC, they're letting these actors kind of like come to them like, hey, let's do a twist on this. Let's kind of work with this. It's
what happened when you're not moving weight.
That's true.
You start
That's
giving
true.
out consignment.
That's true. That's true because
man, I can move this man and get this money back to you next week.
Because,
All right,
because
go,
of
sir.
what they did before sucked so bad, I think they kind of like just kind of open to it. It's like, you know what, let's just do something completely different. Like they'll probably do another Wonder Woman. Because the first one was so good.
Yeah, they're
definitely.
definitely.
They're going to do another
right,
Aquaman or whatever like that. But it made money.
Right, but why?
It made almost $1 billion. That's why.
I thought they already said she's gonna be in the 80s or something on the next.
The newest Wonder Woman 84. But
Yeah.
all I'm trying to say is usually movies come out their trilogy. So they're probably going to do Wonder Woman. Aquaman, how much Tony might have hated it, it made about $1 billion. It's going to be
Such a
2 more of
whack movie.
those.
It's such a whack
Shazam
Batman is coming.
Huh?
Batman will
Eventually,
come.
Batman was going to come. But this is just something completely different. Like, all right, let's put a little twist to it. That's all. I think it's going to be fun.
Man found wandering in Kentucky is not Timothy Pitson. If y'all can remember that story, just guy was running around in Ohio earlier this week talking about the 2 white men had kidnapped him and that he was the young guy, the young kid. And it was funny. So when I first heard this, I looked and I'm like, wait, I kind of remember this story. Then I saw the picture of him and his mother in like Wisconsin. I was like, oh, I definitely remember
So when
this
did the story originally break?
I believe 11 years. The kid may have been 11, and this may have been 7 years ago.
Okay.
And you can remember the kid's mother picked him up and took him to to water parks and
took him out of school early.
Took him out of school early, and then she killed herself, I believe.
Yes.
And she left a note basically saying that the boy is safe, but y'all will never find him.
Damn.
And so people,
Sound like
I
a
remember
movie.
back then it was big. Like, where's this boy at? Where's this boy
You said
at?
about 7 years ago?
7 years. You see,
'Cause
listen, when you go and see the footage of the mother and the boy, it will jog your memory.
Okay.
Go ahead. What are you about to
Because
say?
the father always dropped off the son at school, dropped him off, said, hey, buddy, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Came back to pick him up and found out his wife had already taken him out of school for some kind of emergency. So he's trying to get a hold of his wife. Obviously, she's not answering. Supposedly that his wife called his brother and that his brother heard the son playing in the background, so he thought everything was all right. They couldn't get a hold of this woman. Nationwide search that captivated everybody across the country, and then she was found in a Rockford motel with self-inflicted
Oh, I do remember
suicide.
this story.
And then she left that note, as Ken pointed.
Oh, and she said in a note she said that you'll
You'll
never
never
find
find
him.
him.
Did she say if he was okay or
She
not?
said he was okay. She said he was going to be fine, but you'll never find him.
Oh, that kid's probably somewhere else. But go ahead.
If he's alive. I mean, to think about that family.
She said safe.
Yeah, but she killed herself.
Right. And
Like
she
you-
suffered from some kind of mental
Yeah,
disability.
like a break. So, I mean, just think about it. But the fact that, think about this family when this guy appeared in Ohio and people are basically like, we're wandering in Kentucky, this said. But, and he, for a second, I remember thinking then, like, man, this would be good if it was true. And this dude is basically 20 years old, because he's supposed to be like 14, I believe, or something like that. If this was the kid, he's supposed to be a teenager, basically. If this was right now, but dude's 23 and he's basically delusional or whatever. So just the fact that popped off was like, damn. I know for me, unfortunately, I hope this never happens to any of us. If my kid disappeared and they get my hopes raised, and we're waiting on a DNA test to tell us that it's true, and to find out like it's not even close, and it's not even
Somebody
close.
pulling a hoax on
That's
you.
about
The
to
guy
say.
had like a criminal history on top of it for just like a low rap
Because he
sheet.
walked up to a sheriff and said, "Hey, I'm this guy."
He was wandering
supposedly
around.
was kidnapped by 2 white
men.
male
Buff.
bodybuilders.
Yeah, buff.
And they were holding him captive, and he was able to escape. And to me, what's crazy about it is he just remembers Timothy Piffin
He just was in jail or wherever he was.
and just randomly brought that up, saying, I'm him.
He was wandering around. There was a black lady she was talking about. Yeah, he looked beat up. He looked disheveled. And he was just wandering like this intersection. And then finally the authorities came or whatever.
Damn. I mean, you gotta be a true what's the word I'm looking for? Asshole.
Yeah, right?
To do something
Just blatantly
like that.
lie about
Blatantly.
something like that.
Did they say if anything's wrong with him mentally?
Yeah, he's not right.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has that criminal history.
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, maybe I'll walk that back if he actually has some type of mental illness, if you want to say
You don't
that
have
he'll
to
do
walk
that.
it back.
But nah, that's not cool to do.
Yeah, that's not cool.
You
Because
never,
like
you
Ken
never want to
said,
do
imagine
that.
being that family, hearing that news like,
Yeah, I
that
saw the
could be-
interview. I mean, was it his aunt or somebody?
grandma, I think.
Yeah, they were saying like, man, we can't believe like this isn't true, whatever like that. You know, that's sad, man. No, you never want to do anything like that. But you know what? Now with social media, now with technology, people could just find stuff and just say, I am this person. Listen, people been stealing people identities.
Oh man,
forever. You know,
and only getting worse.
Yeah,
as the
only
days
getting
go
worse.
by.
Yeah. I mean, now they just take your social security card, go buy some shit. Before they'll kill you and say, like, yeah, I'm him. Like, you sure? I'm him. Like, damn, okay.
Help me.
I thought he was a little shorter last time. But no, man, that is pretty sad to hear.
We had to bring you in for the breaking news because Beyonce has signed a deal to partner with Adidas, and this is reviving one of her personal brands as well. Give us all the details. We need to know about Beyonce.
Everybody's excited about Zion, and I think there's a lot of people saying this might actually be more influential and more impactful for Adidas signing Beyonce. I mean, we're talking about clearly one of the biggest superstars in all of entertainment.
In the world,
in the world, in anything, any industry. Yeah.
Came and took my shine away.
I never, in covering shoe deals, I never thought I'd be referring to a hive.
Yes.
But this is now a thing. And I think if you look at Beyonce, you know, she has 126 million followers on Instagram. That's more than all 36 Adidas accounts combined. And so the visibility you get right away, it's incredible. But for her, it really goes beyond that. It's not just about putting her name on a shoe and here's the new Adidas Beyonce 1 or whatever they end up calling it. You know, it's about having an imprint on the company, impact in terms of diversity. I had heard a great story about how, you know, throughout this process over the last year or two, she had discussed with Under Armour, with Reebok as well. Jordan at one point was interested in maybe partnering with her. And she had a meeting at Reebok and they had a whole presentation of everything, potential products, how this could all look. And she kind of took a step back and said, is this the team that would be working on my product? And somebody said yes. And she said, nobody in this room reflects my background, my skin color, and where I'm from and what I want to do. And so she kind of took a step back and left, and then it did not come to terms.
Beyonce walked out of a meeting with Reebok because of their diversity wasn't information.
That's some power moves right there.
Yeah, so Beyonce just came out that she is going to have a line coming out with Adidas, but we come to find out that she walked out of a meeting with Reebok because, one, she didn't feel like they were diverse, and also I don't think she thought that they she had a meeting with Reebok and they had a whole presentation of everything, potential products. This is out of Blavity, how this could look and all this kind of step back, and this is all this working on my product. Somebody said yes, and she said nobody in this room reflects my background, my skin color, and where I'm from and what I do. She took a step back and left, and then it did not come to terms, and she continued, DePaula expressed Beyonce's dedication to ensuring her partnership reflects her values. For her, it really goes beyond that. It's not just about putting her name on the shoe and here's the new Adidas Beyonce 1 or whatever they end up calling it. It's about having an imprint on the company and the impact in terms of diversity. Beyonce's deal with Adidas was announced. This was also from Nick DePaula. He was on the jump on ESPN. So look, and also think about this. We just had that situation where she got back. She had a clothing line with a British or European cat, and he got in trouble, and she got back ownership of that recently.
Ivy Park.
Yeah, I believe that's it. And I mean, that's also one of those things you learn from about. She's already guarded about giving out her name and her likeness or whatever. But no, listen, man,
you got that power. You can flex.
I know you don't like Beyonce, man, but the queen is the queen.
Who don't like Beyonce?
You don't.
I love Beyonce. What do you mean? I watched the whole Coachella thing. I was great.
You hate on the fact that she loved her husband and has sex with him.
No, I don't.
And wrote an album about it.
Man.
You hate on it.
No, I said
Ken, you're getting the beehive on us.
Whoa.
No, I'm not.
No.
But we're an association.
No.
Oh, you're right.
No, I clutched my pearls a little bit when that album dropped. I'm like, whoa, this is not the same
think she
woman.
had sex?
No, it was just she flipped the script so much. It was like, damn, I ain't expect all that. Like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
I want you to be a little girl all the. Now anybody else, if it was the Rolling Stones, he'd be like, look at their growth, right?
No.
Beyonce, he'd be like, you stay in your little room, your little pink room, lady. Don't you talk about sex?
Yo, pink room.
Right.
But she always been talking about
Keith
sex.
Richards out there with a needle in his arm. He like, he an artist. Look at his growth. Beyonce, you better not say nothing about no fucking.
No, it just caught me off guard. I didn't expect to see that.
You part of the Rihanna Navy. You're not part of the.
Oh, I love Rihanna.
You're not part of.
I love Rihanna. But no, I just didn't expect it. That's all. But no, man, listen. If if you have that power, you flex that power.
That's why they killed Nipsey.
I wasn't even talking about that. But if you have that power, you flex that power. And also, too, what person nowadays? What?
Good point. I know what you're about to say.
Company is not going to be like, okay, hey, here's Beyonce. Even if you want to be like on some token shit, where's the black folks at?
I was about to say, even if you don't, if they're not on the team, can you go get the service people?
It could have been like Tony. Fuck that Kofi. Sit your ass down right here, right quick.
Please. Can you, hey, listen.
Beyonce is coming in. We need you in the conference room. Stat.
As soon as she walk out, get your ass out of here. Give me some coffee.
Here's $100. Here's 5 of our polos. Go get some people off the streets. Beyonce's coming. You guys don't say shit, but say that we do good. Like
you shake your head. You say yes,
see,
ma'am.
I knew your point. Like, who in the world would say?
Where's the token?
I'd like you to meet our team of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leroy, Sheldon, William.
I'm like, hold up, no, everybody ain't got here. Go find me some black motherfuckers. Bring their ass. What is Reebok doing? Although I don't hear too much about Reebok no more.
That's why you don't.
Yeah, that's true. And shout out to Adidas because Adidas overseas is like the king of shit. So she link up with them.
These are tennis.
Man,
Yo, this is,
soccer and everything. Woo.
When I saw the story, I'm like, that's dope. I hope it doesn't become a fad.
What?
Where people like, oh, it's cool to do this now. And then like after a while, it fades out and it goes back to normal. I just hope that it doesn't just become a fad of, diversity, more black people, more other people, gay people in the area. And then it's just like, all right, it's done now. We can go back to having us in here.
Well, I guess it depends on who is it. I mean, who does it? Because this is Beyonce. It would be one thing if like K. Michelle when that motherfucker was like, well, black folks like,
see, that's
who
the problem.
Fuck you at?
That's the problem, though. You're right, but that's the problem.
That's the problem, though. You're 100% true.
But why can't K. Michelle? Because if all artists come in there, even the ones that we don't look at as being the huge artists of Beyonce's or Rihanna, everybody coming there like, listen, you're gonna help my people and represent my people, then they have to act accordingly.
I feel you.
But but when you have
unfortunately,
that,
what I'm saying is probably what's
but
true.
when you have, if everyone, if it gets to the point, and this gets back to the Nip thing, if all of us are structured in a certain manner that it has to be more than just me, and you have to, whatever you're trying to bring and sell off me has to come back to my people, and that's part of the negotiation. You know that throughout the door. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then it's going to help. But again, to your point, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
And that the company could be like, who the fuck is K. Michelle? And then she gonna put that big ass and waddle about it.
Say, oh, you don't like this?
We gonna have something tonight, very special.
Didn't Brie Larson said she wanted more diversity in Captain Marvel?
Yeah, she said that every time she goes to press junkets, she only sees like white men.
No, I meant like in the movie.
No, well, you look at Marvel, they kind of hip to the game now. I think they kind of know they need diversity.
Are they?
Yeah.
To say he giving them a pass.
No.
Instead of one token, there's 3.
No.
They could make a live action Black Spider-Man. They had to make him animated.
But that was Sony. That was Sony. That wasn't Disney. That was Sony.
Disney knew not to go to Miles Morales. They're like, we gonna milk this white Spider-Man for as long as we possibly can.
No, but I would think.
They know him as Peter. They call him Peter. He gonna stay Peter.
I would think with Disney in general, because look at the live actions they have put out. Look at they changed up going to like the Black Princesses. You have Aladdin coming out right now. I think that you can at least say they understand what's going on. I ain't saying that they the best motherfuckers.
It's because they have to. They knew they could. Listen, what they gonna do with Aladdin? They gonna have white Aladdin? What you gonna say? What they gonna do with Aladdin?
Wasn't Elizabeth Taylor Cleopatra?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about today, D. We again.
Well, yeah, that's my point.
That's my point is when you're giving
what they
Disney
gonna
a
do?
pass. Of course, they know they can't put a white Aladdin out today. Is what I'm saying. So giving them a pass for saying that's good. They're doing it. Like, I don't think they bet not have someone who's not.
Yeah, that's having common sense.
Yes.
But I don't think I'm saying that I'm giving them a pass. I think you could look at Disney and some of the things they've done.
Walt Disney was a blipping racist.
What this motherfucker?
I think
he's dead.
Didn't Reebok come to them with the Aladdin script originally that they scrapped? The all-white cast?
Yeah. The all KKK version. I didn't know that Aladdin grew up on the redneck Riviera.
Right.
Like right here in Little Alabama. Little boy rubs a damn
But
lamp.
it kind of shows, at least Disney, looking at Captain Marvel, looking at a Black Panther. They now spearheading the all Asian superhero movies coming out
This
sometime
all
soon.
money driven.
What all Asian superhero movies?
One
Shang-Li? I think that's the name of it.
As soon as they stop making them money, they'll switch over.
That's what they need.
But no, but look at
Let's enjoy it while it's lasting.
But look at it though. But now I think we understand, hopefully we understand
Not
we
us,
have
it's those
no.
executives.
Hopefully, we understand that we have power with our dollars. And now, if they don't put out something that represents us, we'll be like, "Fuck it, no, we ain't rocking with it. We gonna take our dollars back." Yes, it all comes down to money, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because it's business, and they kind of see like, yeah, man, these motherfuckers spend money if we do something that looks like them, movies that look like them, people put them in a position of power that look like them. Yeah, this Reebok shit is bullshit. The motherfuckers stupid.
Something that I was excited about this week was the announcement of a live-action Cowboy Bebop. Are you guys familiar?
Yeah.
No.
Didn't I comment
What is
on
Cowboy
that?
Bebop?
It's a cartoon. You never seen Cowboy Bebop?
It's an
I don't think
anime.
so. No.
It's an anime.
It's a cartoon.
It's an anime.
you bring it up
Respect
for
the
me?
culture.
Can I
It
bring
used
it
to
up?
be on Cartoon Network.
Respect the culture, please.
No, it was like
and they're actually going to cast it how it was written for. They're going to have an Asian guy play the main character.
Never heard of it. Was it around Eddie and Eddie? That was my Cartoon Network.
Yeah, what channel are we talking
Was
about?
it around Johnny Bravo Cartoon Network?
No,
'Cause that's
anime is not a cartoon.
This
He's
you
doing
don't know
it-
this.
You just said cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It's not a cartoon. Cartoons are for kids.
Look, this right here.
I didn't watch this.
You can't see any of these characters from Cowboy Bebop.
No, I never seen this show. How long? When was it? When was it on, Tony?
This was like late 90s.
Oh no, I was out chasing girls and shit. Getting
But
drunk.
Cowboy Bebop has been a part of hip hop culture, though.
Yeah, it's big time.
The
I didn't-
soundtrack to this anime was excellent.
No.
Excellent.
I gotta say, I missed this.
I
one,
mean,
y'all.
old school hip hop beats.
Yeah.
I missed it. I missed it. I missed it.
I mean, visually, the way it was made, it wasn't. He's doing a deserves by calling it a cartoon. It's an adult.
Damn,
fit
Ken, you
more
just calling
animated.
a fucking cartoon. Have some respect. Put some respect on Cowboy Bebop's
Please.
name.
It's a cartoon.
Wait a minute. So who's
Hey,
putting
is
it?
it real people in it?
Who's
or
putting it out?
Is it colorful colors running around?
Who's putting it out?
You guys, I am going to lose it. Netflix has revealed the cast for the Cowboy Bebop live action show. 3, 2, 1.
Let's jam.
John Cho will play Spike Spiegel, the impossibly cool space cowboy bounty hunter, which, if you ask me, is dreamcasting come true.
And Jet Black will be played by Mustafa Shakir, the captain of the Bebop. Once an honest cop before a deep betrayal forced him to hunt bounties. The beloved gruff father figure of the Motley Crew.
Daniela Pineda is Faye Valentine, a mysterious woman who is cryogenically frozen and suffers from amnesia. Lethal and playful, she can be a thorn in Spike and Jet's sides at times.
But we love her so much, and Alex Hassel has been cast as vicious. Though they were once best friends, partners, now he is Spike's arch enemy, and the Syndicate's, dare we say, most vicious killer, out for blood.
So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, it's not crap. Please don't make it crap. Cowboy Bebop is one of the greatest animes of all time. It's probably the one people go to. If you said, "Hey, I want to get into anime," start watching Cowboy Bebop.
Quick, wait.
It's Fist of the North Star.
I would tell people to go to Cowboy Bebop first.
If you're going to go first, you go Fist of the North Star. And you see motherfucker punch somebody in the face and then the other side, poof.
Didn't see that either.
You didn't see Fist of the North Star?
I didn't see it. No, I didn't fucking see it. No, when did that come out?
Wait, Ryan, are you an anime fan at all?
No.
See, Ryan,
I've watched a little.
Ryan,
watched a little.
Did you see these
You guys
movies?
are missing out on an entire
Well,
genre.
there you go. Well, there you
Oh,
go.
the anime genre is so great. It's
Listen,
been telling detailed stories like we're enjoying now.
Original run of Fist of the North Star was 83 to 88.
Fist of the
So
North
you
Star is
wasn't
hard.
out fucking then.
I was just outside running around.
Fist of the North Star is hard.
What
Fist of the North Star
channel?
is
What channel
hard.
did that come on?
I mean, this was stuff that you would just find if like.
No, man. How fuck am I find? What?
It would be on like Channel 66 or something like
I was
that.
watching Samurai Sunday, but I don't remember seeing this shit.
Okay, it's cool. You wasn't down with hip hop
y'all
culture. the way
motherfuckers
that
talking
you
about,
was.
oh, y'all hear you.
I thought you was like that. You've always been the hip hop. You've always been the hip hop culture guy. This has been huge in hip hop. Fist of the North Star. You hear that in Wu-Tang stuff and everything.
I saw Shaolin movies. I saw the actual kung fu movies.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't see a
this-
cartoon.
Yeah.
It's
My
not a cartoon.
When you hear this thing to be like, give me your pain, let me feel your pain. That's Fist of the North
I
Star.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Look, anime is a great genre.
Well, I'm happy
if
for
you're
you,
not-
Tony.
if you're-
Cartoons are
if you're
great.
not- It's not a cartoon. It's not a cartoon.
Well, I'm happy for you, Tony.
Okay.
You be happy for the world, D.
Wait a minute. Who was the cartoon that Charlize Theron played? Aeon Flux? Arion Flux? What was the name of that movie? Was it
She
Charlize
was
Theron?
in Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux. Thank you. Was that
Wasn't animated though.
That was the anime. I thought
No,
that was kind of like on the same
that was
level.
like her being like Neo or something.
No. It was a cartoon at first.
I didn't like it. You talking about the MTV?
But
cartoon?
but wasn't that anime? Wasn't that anime cartoon?
All of them are cartoons. If you want to call it anime, I guess. I always
Tony?
thought that one was a little bit too. It was a little bit too. It was a little bit too heroin chic for me. Growing up,
like that movie.
Would you consider
the movie that came out, Battle Alita?
Oh yeah,
That was an anime.
Alita? Yeah.
That was an anime.
Okay.
That was good.
No.
I'm telling you, there's some great anime out there.
I'm sure it is.
People
I like
down
Kung
it
Fu
because
movies.
they think
I
it's
like
like,
Kung Fu
this is a
type movies.
cartoon. It's a cartoon. Like, no,
Why
it's
can't there be good cartoons? You know what we're watching right now that the family has forced me into watching?
DuckTales?
No, I did that to them. You crazy?
DuckTales was hard.
I saw a couple episodes.
The new
of
ones,
it.
even the new ones are good.
I saw a couple of new episodes.
But,
what you got them watching?
No, they got me watching the Dragon Prince.
What is that?
This is fucking cartoon that steals everything from Lord of the Rings.
What channel it come on?
It comes on like it's a Netflix
okay
thing, and it's like the
Is it
Dragon.
good?
It's straight. I mean, it's straight. It's just like I'm doing it with them because it's like, guys, this isn't special enough for my grown ass to be watching. Like, it got to be special.
Did you end up watching Umbrella Academy?
I told you when you said it, I only had that last episode left. So what are you talking about?
Did you
sir?
finish it?
Yes, I finished it.
Thoughts?
Showrunner Steve Blackman has created a hilariously twisted, stylish, and poignant new superhero series that's a witty deconstruction of our favorite comic book tropes and an ambitious, time-bending romp. Despite some bloat around the mid-season mark and a few underdeveloped supporting characters, this is still a super new series with a ton of potential.
It's great. He was the first. I told you that was his 1st. Give him his props. You like to steal props.
No, I knew about it. He's
fuck
seen
with
it first.
I like fucking
Yeah,
shit like
I
that.
already seen it.
No, I can't wait for the next one. It seems like it's gonna be a minute before
Whole
the next
year.
one. I think it's a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's gonna be like a minute because they haven't even given green light to have a second season yet. People
They
can
did.
When
They
this
just
week,
Yeah.
because I know
maybe
the week
last
before
week.
last week it wasn't.
they got it-
No,
they
I'm
got
just
it-
telling. I'm just
yeah.
saying the week before last week it wasn't.
I think it
But
was this
it's-
No,
week.
they kept saying because this is what they kept saying. That one of the boys came out and was like, "No, they thought it was clear, but it wasn't clear."
Today is April 6th. I say it's Saturday. I think my coworker kind of nudged me like, "Hey, I heard your show got re-upped again." Because I started watching it at work on my lunch
Netflix
break.
announces new season of Smash Hit Umbrella Academy.
5 days ago. That's what I just said. The week
Yeah,
before.
this week. Yeah,
I was just pointing out the week
I know.
before last it wasn't. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that was a pretty big hit for them. Because I listen, I think I had seen the comics in the comic book store, but I was kind of like, I'd try something different. But the show itself, man, it got me really want to go back and try to find the novel. I mean, the books. It was really good. Really,
Pass.
real.
I can just watch the. I
You
can
want
just
to
watch
read
the
it?
show.
Why you want to watch? Why you want to read the comic books?
I like to see it. I like to see it.
You don't want to read.
It's not that.
He
It's
started
just-
off with the live action.
Yeah.
Already.
That's what, like, for instance,
It doesn't make you want to go back and kind of read the
I
origin
kind of
stuff?
want to
Original
see.
stuff?
Look, I want to go back. This is the thing. I want to go back and look at old Game of Thrones. Read the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me that I had to read the books before watching it, I'd rather have watched it.
Oh, that was the right move.
Yeah, I'd rather have watched. So with this, I'd rather.
But I ain't asked you to read encyclopedia though either. Them fucking Game of Thrones.
I'm
books,
not, but I'm just even saying
thick.
with Umbrella Academy,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it like this. To go back, and I even know some of the ways that it's not the same from reading through the stuff that it's not the same as the book. But to go back to the book, it's like that'd be cool. But I'm in it. Plus, it's also I watch it with my family. Me and my family can't read a comic book together. Like we be like, here, you take this page. Wait, what's it like? We all gonna sit around the book. Like, no, we can
You
all
read it, then
that's not. But that's not the same as like me. That like me, you and
agree
Tony
with you.
reading a comic book isn't the same as us going to watch a movie together, right? Like I have to wait.
It depends on if
after
you read
I
it at the
read
same
it,
time.
but I'm just saying,
Not sharing it.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
All right.
Okay.
Why do we have to do this, y'all?
No.
Why do we have to do this?
No.
It's not the same.
Gather
It's
around
not a
this.
shared experience
No,
like that.
people read
Uncle
books.
Ken has a comic book
people
for you.
read books together, and then they talk about it, and it's the same kind of feeling. That's
I'm
why you
just-
have book clubs. They've been around, y'all.
The point that I'm making is
They've been
even with-
around.
The point that I'm making, it's not the same when you and your friends, for a quick in and out, can view something together and can see it, and it can hit you in all the senses as in one person individually reading by themselves. Even if they come together to talk about it later, it's still not the same.
I think that'd be
Why have a concert then?
Well, what?
I'm saying
that's a completely different thing.
But it's a joint. It's a gathering of people. Is the point that I'm making?
I mean, okay. I'm just saying you can read books together. That's all I'm trying to say.
Who what the fuck wants to read a book together?
People do it all the time.
Do you do it?
No, because I don't read like that.
No, because you like I'm gonna read the book. I'm not going to fucking talk to these people about it.
I would if I was in a book club and it was a book like okay,
Why aren't you
everybody's
in a
going to
book
read
club?
it.
You read comic books.
I read comic books. I never. You know what? I've never met a comic book club.
I'm sure they are.
But they are. I would do that. I would read the comedy and then go talk about it.
But
Yeah,
all mean
yeah.
you haven't sought it out all these years.
No, I haven't.
But you go see those movies, don't you?
Oh, I do.
Enjoy them with your family, don't you?
Now, sort of. I used to go by myself.
Okay, but even with this is the point. There are some comic book movies that your family will go see with you.
If I force them, but now Grace is kind of getting into it. But that's it.
You said how many?
I think they maybe.
Did you see
like
the first Deadpool?
Okay,
with
two.
it?
Now, how many of these comic books are they going to read with you?
We're talking about you two. You two read comic books. What are you talking about?
I know. My
I
point
barely
was.
read. I just catch
my
up on
point
them
was
on
my
YouTube.
shared experience. Yeah, my point was my shared experience with watching it.
That's
You
too much.
asked me.
I'm
I
telling
do
you-
it with my family.
I'm saying that you can do what you're saying is like people don't do. People
I
can't
let other
do
people
it.
read it, and I watch their reviews on YouTube.
Okay. I do it.
So I
was-
cheat, kind of.
I enjoy
you like movies. Yeah.
No. This is family time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's.
Oh, you
it's-
watched the Umbrella Academy with him?
Yes, we watched Umbrella Academy together. So I would. That's one
I'm
of the
trying to
things-
get my family to watch Umbrella Academy. They're like, eh.
No,
I'm like, no,
I
I'm
watched
telling
that by
y'all,
myself.
Umbrella Academy is great.
I don't think Grace is to the point. She can definitely do a movie, but can she sit and watch a live action series like
and
that?
you just don't watch.
I don't
all
know if
the-
she's
all you gotta
there
do is
just
watch
yet.
one episode. Don't do 2 or 3.
I don't know if she's there just yet.
Because I mean, you just basically said she won't sit through. You gotta piecemeal it to her.
Yeah. I mean,
So
eventually
you
she's
can't
going to get.
binge watch it. Like, hey, Grace, I'm about to watch
No,
4 hours of this
no,
shit.
no.
You gotta be like, hey, today, and then maybe a week.
I watched them like day by day by day, but I just don't know where she's at just yet. If she falls into it and she's like, yeah, definitely I would do it with my family, but she never don't want to see that shit. So I watch all this stuff by myself.
No, I don't have to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, you're lucky.
We enjoy it together.
You're lucky.
That's what makes it. And then we go about and we kind of, what you think we're happening right here? What you think is happening right here? Like, so look, getting with that. That's one of the great parts about it. Like, I said this. I told them earlier on that 5, is 5 the one with the dead? The one could do the dead one? Which one is the dead one?
With the drug addiction?
Yeah, which one's he?
That's not 5.
Is he 7? No, 7 is
7 is the violin girl.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. She's 7.
Yeah, I think 5 is a little boy.
5 is dead.
Dead one.
Okay.
So he's 4 then?
He's 4.
So I told them, I said, 4 can use other people's powers as dead. I told them that. I said, I'm talking about by episode 5, I was like, he can use their powers, right? And until you don't get to the last episode where he uses 5's powers, and I was like, I told y'all, because when the father was like, when he was like, you've only scratched the surface, I was like, see, I told y'all, he can do what I told you. Nobody, everybody's sitting there like, you will see.
I mean, it's such a great show because it dives into, even though it's this superhero, supernatural type thing, it hits things that people deal with their daily issues, relationship with their parents, foster
Family,
parents,
brother, siblings.
siblings. Like it deals with a lot of that stuff, and it gives you the superhero stuff that feeds that you want out of it. So,
I'm kind of.
have you seen it?
No, you
Ryan?
I have not.
You should watch it. It's great.
Even though I'm kind of sick of number 1.
Really?
Because it's like, dude, just calm your little hot pants down.
He's constantly searching for approval. That's his
he'll do
archetype.
anything for old girl.
Yeah.
And that's like, dude, so you to yourself sometimes you gotta be like, all right.
And you love a sister, Ken. Come on,
I don't think he views it like that as a sister. Because I think she's from mixed orientation. I think he's like,
you know what's funny?
He's part of us.
You know what's funny?
She's
he
half
went,
right.
He went out on that rampage and smashed old girl, and she got mad. You had a whole kid. She had a whole kid.
But that's because one, I agree with you. She did that one because it seems like their relationship just reignited. So she's like, damn, we just started to seem like we trying to work it out and you out here fucking. But I'm with you. That was my thought too. But she quickly got over it. She realized herself, like, it ain't that serious. Come help me do this or whatever. I ain't focusing on that. Finally, you got some pussy. You know, whatever.
And her whole situation was
But then you got to look at
weird. Would you do that, Ken? As a parent, if you can force your kid,
you would do it. You wouldn't want to. You would do it. I won't say you do it by accident. You would do it.
Well, if people
let's not ruin that part. Let's not ruin that part.
It's up for a second season. Come on, man.
Let's not. Let's just say. But you're just asking me because people are going to go and listen to this. They can understand us talking around it. I think if you have she has the power of suggestion 20-fold. I think anyone that has that power falls into using it for their life. Because look at where she's at. Mm-hmm. We know that's why she's where she's at. So I mean, I think anybody think how hard that is not to use that power at all. To be like, yeah, I had a rumor that you do this. Like, it's too hard. Like the baby's. If you've never had a kid, the baby is whining at 3 a.m. in the morning, not stopping. It's 5. You're gonna be like, I think you sleepy. You're not gonna hit him with that. You're gonna hit him with, I'm sorry. It's right or wrong. Like, you're gonna sit there and hit him.
I want to dive into it. He doesn't want to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil that part as far as he wants to go. I don't think we should do. We can wait and do the deep dive. Let's give our listeners. Let's do it for our listeners.
You still watching it?
No, he done. He done.
Oh,
I'm just saying for our listeners.
Man, it's been over for a while. Okay. I think you deep.
We're not about to do it this. We do.
Listen,
next week, umbrella episode.
Yeah,
we'll do it next week.
Yeah,
this episode's over.
Yeah,
we're about to get up out of here.
Cool. All right. Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter at D and Davis Show. Instagram, same thing at D and Davis Show. Hey, we're now on YouTube as well. You can find D and Davis Show and D and Davis a Flip on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and just search for D and Davis Show. We're right there. All right. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. You can hit us up on an email as well. DandDavisShow@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at Demons1. Ken is at That's Davis. Tony Gill 670. Sid at SidKid80, and Ryan B. Ski.
Look, make sure you check out Dan Davis' show. Sid's always at Second City Sports on Thursdays with Lakina, Jason Pfeiffer. Tony, you already know with the behind the lines. What's
the score behind the headlines? We took a week off. Julie went on vacation. We just recorded another episode today, so it's going to be out Monday.
What about No Zones?
No Zones.
It's back.
It's back. Yeah. We came back, me and Cody. We gave out our NBA awards. Argue for Giannis and but most importantly, all NBA, because that's, to me, is the most important thing. Outside of like the individual awards. But next week we're gonna have Bulls Outsiders on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
From the MC Sports, the Bulls Outsiders show. They're gonna be on next week, and then the week after that is gonna be super lit because I'm gonna have Casey Johnson, Joe Cowley, Darnell Mayberry, and Cody Westerland for a Bull season review panel.
A panel all together.
All in
Jason
the
Goff
studio.
Wow.
It's going to be great. The episode's going to be. I'm going to try and get some video.
Yeah,
even if I got to pay Brian Gertz, our video guy, like some out of my pocket. I want to make this big. Yeah. So it's going to be dope. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's nice.
All right, so we'll be back for Dan Davis' show this Tuesday. We were lucky enough to have Scott Phillips and Bobby Valentine, former player and manager, join us. So we'll give you somebody pretty good this week, breaking down the rest of the tournament, what took place.
Can I make just a small comment? What do I think Bobby Valentino was coming on?
Oh my!
You mean the singer?
Damn it, Tony!
I was like, he talking about sports?
Wow. Isn't he in jail or something?
He's in jail?
Didn't something happen to him?
Last time I seen him, he was running
away from a I don't know. I was disrespectful.
Yeah,
you almost went there.
From a
transsexual?
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
A trans person.
Yes, that's fine.
God works.
Yes.
Running out that door. It's like, really, Bobby? It is Atlanta.
It is Atlanta. I thought he got in illegal trouble or something. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry, Bobby V.
He was like, hey, slow down. Trying to run from that transsexual. All right. Don't do anything before you hear from us again. Don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again.
We gone.
Keep your hands to yourself.
The Flip.